3, 4, 5 questions that I want to focus on. And actually, there's one more I want to add. And it is, how do I structure this? Oh, how long will you be attempting why doesn't that work? Why does that attempting to sell yourself before considering hiring a professional? Okay, there we go. All right, those are the 6 questions I want to focus on. All right, I'll let you format because, I'll let Dakota dress that up, make it pretty. And actually, Dakota, if we can have them white or animate so that we only see one question at a time, that would be ideal. Because if you give them all of it at once, then their focus is there and not on you as a presenter. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Oh yeah, I wear shoes I can slip off. Yeah. 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 Who's the guy from Australia up in Oregon? Spokane? Bruce Hardy told me, or told a group of us that he's from Australia, right? Yeah, he's told me he's gotten more listings from removing his shoes than anything. Yeah. Or offering to remove his shoes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right, exactly. Okay, that's fine. Yep. Okay. All right. Okay, so this. Gotcha. Okay, that's what that message is, yeah. Right. Well, we are cool though. Little stuff. Yeah. Yep. You teaching? I'll be out of here in 2 minutes. Cool. Totally. Yep. Yeah. And your anchor is setting a backpack or setting a briefcase or setting a notebook on the kitchen table, right? Yeah. Yep. Got it. Good morning. See you. Yep. That has never happened to me. What's that? Yeah. Oh, I'm back. I gotta move to my office. I was in the training room doing my calling as I promised the market center I'll do, and that's what Putty used to do. But they're teaching a class here, so I gotta excuse myself. And I'm still on. Don't worry, I'm hearing you. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right, absolutely.
Will you be going to the, event that family reunion?
I am not.
Okay.
I'm actually part of those days on the other town.
Hmm.
So it just happened that I had planned this trip way before.
Or before they decided to have.
Yeah, and I can't change them.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, this week has been so crazy. I hope that I can work remotely.
Oh,
We have opened 4 escorts this week,
oh, wow, that's.
so this has been really busy. Good morning, how are you? And where's the better half?
So my better half is on call today.
Oh.
He works 24-hour shifts. So he's on call and he's saying you're on call on Fridays. Yesterday, he saw us was here yesterday and had an accident on the freeway.
Oh,
He had a hazmat shot. It's fine.
good.
Happy birthday.
And same thing.
Happy Friday, Susie.
Happy Friday, Aaron. What are you going to do today? There's no added sugar in it.
I'm sure it doesn't take you out. I don't know, anything it takes you out.
I'm trying to take all my notes, all the classes, and probably them together and pull out what I like best. That best fits me, what I can do.
So far, what do you like? Oh,
What's gonna work for me, what I think's gonna work. And then if it doesn't work, I'll go to the next thing, but I can't do everything. Then I won't accomplish anything. Gotta, you know.
well, in a time I suggest,
Uh-huh.
you don't know what you like until you actually try.
Correct, I agree.
Okay, so you might want to try a few things and see which ones you sort of feel more comfortable with. Because if you love it, it's gonna show in all of you. And you know, and I don't know, I actually met the time and sit down when I was really busy when Jay was teaching. But Jay began to feel busy in a very short period of time. And I don't think that is incredible. So.
I got that much. If that's taking my rooms fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. I just have to say that.
Yeah.
Wherever they have it.
No.
So you're going to,
I was thinking about it, and then I looked online and I saw the registration fee. That's taking my emergency fund. I can't take my emergency fund and do that. That is out of my bags now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put it at that. Now, I got to keep my emergency fund.
What do you think?
my suggestion, I'm very selective about the classes I take.
Yeah.
My suggestion is, be careful with becoming a student of real estate, become more of a doer
Yeah.
of real estate. Like I mentioned before, your only job right now is to be connecting with people and lead generate. Okay, literally,
Yes.
forget everything else. This course takes you through the process of
Right.
everything. And actually, today's course is actually pretty exciting. Because that's when you're getting very close to getting paid. So,
The main reason I was even thinking about going, because I have family in 2 other states, and I've been talking to them, like, so I was thinking, I want to hook up with some agents to use as referral agents. So I said, oh, this So I go on command, look them up, have a conversation, and then maybe when I and see if they're coming, then I'll meet. But we can do that another time. I can just do it, talking to them on the phone now.
My suggestion,
Mhm.
and I'll save you
Okay.
$1,000
Yeah.
would be go to command,
Mhm.
look for them in the areas that you have family,
Right.
maybe a few of them on the phone,
Mhm.
and then do a video conference.
Oh, that's good.
Because you're not, trust me when I say this, you're not gonna find this agent within 15,000 other agents that are gonna be in that
Mhm.
convention.
Right, you go back.
It's soon. I'm not gonna be able to, I found most of the time that. So this is something that I had already, scheduled. And I did not get the tickets that we can change.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm sticking to that.
I'll do that. I'll do a Zoom call with whoever talks if I decide I want to deal with them.
The trick to this business, and if you read the Millionaire Agent book, is that you have to lead with revenue, okay?
Makes sense?
Which means that once you start making money, once you have a little bit of traction, then you start going into those bigger expenses.
Makes sense too.
I mean, I'm gonna repeat it. Your only job right now is to go get a buyer, to go get a seller, or line up a few buyer, or line up a few sellers.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
If you, as you been looking at things in marketing, we all have a different way of doing this business,
Right.
okay? And what works for me might not work for you. Like I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I am huge at open houses.
Right.
I had not had to pay for one single lead my entire career until COVID hit. Because COVID shut my business down because I was only based on open house. I learned one thing. Don't do just one thing. Okay, because that is, when that happened, I'm like, okay, I had to sell some stock, I had to do some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, what's gonna happen to the world? So I like literally clear out before things went to hell and, I created a little nest egg. I had 2 transactions going at the time, one fell out of escrow, good thing I had a backup card, went in it, but it went, everybody was panicking.
Yeah.
I didn't want to let the seller go into escrow, the amount that they went with, but they, you know, they had inherited the property and they wanted their cash, so they're like, no, put it, I mean, I was. The people got a great deal.
The
Okay?
sellers got a great.
The
deal.
buyer.
The buyers got a great deal.
Yeah, because everybody was panicking and literally was that week of the shutdown. So it was, you know, it was scary. So now we're in a different world. And by the way, I have a situation going on with my allergies. I'll show you later. I did this amazing project on Sunday on one of I like gardening and I have some incredible air plants, some staghorns. This one was amazing, about a 30-year-old, and I actually separated it into 10 different pieces and created this beautiful.
Oh, you got pictures?
Yes, I
I
got.
got an idea too. That might give me an idea,
So cool.
because I have allergies too. That's.
Well, I should have listened to my wife. Why do you think I'm doing it now? No.
Right.
I have absolutely no problems meeting when I'm wrong. That doesn't mean yeah. It's just that thanks to the entire COVID situation, I just can't, I feel uncomfortable. So the mask for me is like, it drives me crazy. So I'm out in the open, I figured it was not gonna be a big deal, but I am ripping this plant apart and creating all these different pieces. But there's the Stockhorn in the back of the leaves, so they have this brown area, which is what they pollinate. Well, by the end of the day, I was a mess, and so I've been a mess since then, and so I tested for COVID the past 3 days just because I wanted to be safe because I was dealing with two elderly couples this week, and I just wanted to say, I'm good, I feel like profit. So I hope I can keep up the energy to the process, but this morning I had a hard time getting up. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna take about 10, 15 minutes, and we're gonna do a recap. Since I was here, a quick overview, and the reason why is I wanna know what you guys have gotten from the last few classes. Because everything you have learned, okay, from the time we talked about following up with the leads, did you already capture it, right? Now you're doing the follow-up. To get where I'm gonna teach today, which is not, getting the lead is not easy. Improving the relationship is not, so the entire process is not a easy process, okay? Because like I said before, if this was easy, everybody would do it, and we wouldn't have a 94% failure rate. Okay. I know. So what it means is that you guys need to break these odds, and they can be broken. You have to develop the habits, and you do the activities that you probably, you know what, this is how I want you to think about it. Think about the activities you need to do. Find the ones that you really don't want to do or hate. Do those. Seriously, it's like lifting the phone, right? How do you freeze a real estate agent? Put a phone in them. Because it's so heavy.
Except for Bob.
Bob, yeah. He just died. The mojo, the mojo. We have it. So. Unless you're willing to do the uncomfortable, and unless you're willing to do what you want to do, okay, then you will do real estate, but on a limited form. And by all means, I'm a very, very positive person, but I also want you to get the full picture and the reality for what you're in. Because at times people don't get it and they realize they think it's, because unfortunately, our reputation as agents is very close to a used car salesman. Believe it or not. Why? Because, from the seller side, or from the buyer side, our jobs are very easy. We just drive around and looking at beautiful property and having fun and having parties. Well, ain't like that. And this week is being proved that it's not like that. Okay. And just because this entire process, you have to stay on it constantly. Just like when you get your leads, you don't get on them constantly. And that was lesson 12 about strengthening the relationships. So when you get a lead, how do you strengthen the relationship with that lead to develop it to a client? Who wants to share?
I would think to send text like weekly maybe.
Okay.
Or and a phone call, maybe once or twice a month.
Okay.
And just ask where they are in the process of saying you feel like you're ready to do a pre-qualification. Just ask about the family, the forward method and all that kind of thing, and just stay in contact.
Okay. The last part you said is the answer.
The forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
The part about asking about the family, and the part about creating rapport. Asking them what they want, asking them if they're pre-approved, asking them if they're gonna buy tomorrow, asking them if they're gonna buy in 6 months, does not build rapport. That just simply gives you the information that you need to help them.
Okay.
But to strengthen the relationship, you have to get direct development. You have to get close up, and you have to establish that connection. If you don't do that, you don't have a relationship, right?
Right.
So How do we do that? Yes, we do follow-ups. Independent, right? If you, I don't know, did you guys get a copy of the book that I brought for open houses?
No.
You know, how they say, when they're gonna buy.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, so based on that is how you go about, because if they say, I need to buy it now, well, that relationship needs to build in like super time. Yeah, right, so you go into the family and at the same time you go into the family, you're like, oh, great, well, your family needs a home, and how does that home look like? And when, and I'm gonna recommend this, okay, because I'm gonna share some stories today. And the difference between having somebody come into your office, the formality of having somebody come to your office and use one of the conference room, and for you to possibly have one of the lenders with you. That's the next step, the relationship, because it's not as official. They came to meet with the realtor. Okay? The company says get a representation agreement with the buyer. Just like you would if you got a listing. Okay, that's something that I highly recommend, but I have to be honest, I don't use it. And if
You
you
don't use the buyer representation agreement.
you don't say it too loud.
They weren't you, and now you're like.
Well, I believe.
I know there's something different.
Yeah, so there's.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
what I'm saying. What works for me doesn't necessarily have to work for you. Okay? Yes.
Because would you say for a buyer consult that it's best for that first meeting to be here in the office rather than meeting at a Starbucks?
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Please, I want those conference rooms are busy,
Okay.
all the time closed. Yes,
So I live, breathe in LA. So. Well, I'm in South Bay because people said it's better off here, Johnny, my here, my other work, that's great, guy, or country area, so much more. So he has his base, my basement was like, somebody parking off my all around here. They needed me, and I just do mine over the phone. Because your buyer console, I mean, I did have on Monday at. Yes, but because I was in the class, I don't know there.
whatever, and they do.
They were drawing. Soccer, there's Ball Hills, View Park, Winter Hills.
Well, we have an office in Larchmont, we have an office in, the Hills, we have an office in Hollywood, we have.
And when my car is close to.
So what you do is you can actually call, the center server conference.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't know that.
You should be able to, it's not like minutes. So you should definitely be able to. Especially if you, and to top it up, see if they have an in-house vendor that you can actually use, that would be a way into.
Okay, well, this person has 4 lenders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Are you sure they're not for super?
What? No, I said.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so, why do you have lenders? I mean, I did the judgment, right?
Right.
It's cheaper.
It's 50 shot, I mean, it's 50 shot, but I won't say, that's in the secret there, but at one point they have to select, right?
Exactly.
So,
But I know the report first, because, oh, how are you, oh, how are the kids doing, I know you have the basketball team, you love that part of the basketball court, I know it's the. Maybe too far from the walk, I get that, we'll be closer, you're in the same facility, our the kids in preschool, what are the kids in preschool? Oh, I think in St. James, oh my God, they're gonna be friends for life, your kid was in St. James, or could ask you, I love that school, I'm trying to get my kids in there, but I don't know if I can afford it.
okay, so let's go back to the decline. So when that's the case, is when you're away from the office, then maybe you need to find a coffee place that allows you to be able to have a conversation and it's not so loud.
It's 2 kids.
Well, it might be like,
Right.
so then you have to figure out when that will work. I highly recommend for that to be a one-on-one. It might not need to be here, it might be impossible to be here. So if you're working in this market and you're working here locally, good morning. Okay, then you're gonna end up with leads here. So, and the reason why I say that is because the leads that I come here have a formal meeting, establish a relationship, I indoctrinate them on how this process is gonna work. They go ahead and take my brochure, they read it. They know exactly. First, I'm their realtor. Second, that this is how we're gonna go about the project. Every single one of those flows. When I have, I have two escrows right now. That, one is from each of the team members, okay? We never had that sit down. I think it's been like all over, or corralling cat, I mean, you know how hard it is to like, so. That's the difference. Because they're not indoctrinated. They don't, they think they know the process. And it's harder for them. It's harder. Okay. So then, so that would, I mean, that would be the best way. We do, buyers and even pre-listing presentations on Zoom. Yeah. No. So. About qualifying the buyers and sellers, what did you guys get out of that? Why would it be important to qualify the lead?
You're legitimate, ready, no, I see.
Okay,
They're able, willing, and ready.
okay. What else?
To know what price bracket you're looking for, so that you're giving them things that are realistic with their purchase.
Okay, how do you do that?
Well, if they're pre-qualified from a price perspective, then you know what the lender is gonna offer them, combined with what they're willing to put down over and above, then you know your price range that you're looking for.
So, pre-qualifying the lead is really important. Like when if you're gonna set up an appointment with yourself here, reserve the conference room, you're gonna ask one of the lenders to actually meet with you before they get to that. You need to pre-qualify. And this is what that means. Okay, so some of the questions are, how soon are you looking to buy? About 5 years from now. Will you meet right now? Probably not. So, but if they say within a year, I would say bring him in. Okay, just within a year, bring him in, and if you're willing to come in, even if it's 2 years, bring him in. You get to practice your appointment skill. The other part is, oh, by the way, when was the last time you checked your credit? Oh, I haven't checked my credit in a long time. Oh, okay, great. Or they say, well, I checked my credit a month ago. Oh, so where was that? 500. Right away, you're starting to see flags, right? By the way, how much looking for your, what are you thinking budget wise? Oh, 600,000. What do you want your payment to be? 2,500. That's not even close. You're looking at more like 4,800 right now. So those are the different things that will actually either have you ask more questions, or they'll figure out that this is not going to fly unless 4 other people get on the loan. And believe it or not, there are people that 4 people sign for 1 loan, right? So the other part is like, well, my credit's a little better because I did file bankruptcy about 16 months ago. Well, I filed bankruptcy about 24 months ago. Well, we're gonna have to wait a little bit. We need to continue to build and clean your credit. But the likeliness of something like that working out. So the other, about sellers the same thing. We have to ask questions. And you work with winning the buyer, right? How do you win the buyer?
How do you win the buyer?
How do you win a buyer? How do you get somebody to want to work
So your value?
What is your value?
I'm going to work 100% for you. I'm going to find you the best deal, the best price.
And the seller's gonna take the share for you.
What was that?
Fiduciary.
Okay,
Just
that is your, that is your obligation. To be good. Okay, What is it? what is it? Okay, some of the things that you just say is exactly what every real estate agent says, right? I'm gonna work hard for you, I'm gonna do this, and then it'll show up on time. So,
Aaron, don't talk about me because I was 2 minutes late.
I was even like.
I was quick.
I'm waiting for at least one more person to go there. Well, there was somebody in the back who's surprised. I'm facing left, no. So, the way you win, you know, like, if you're at an open house, right? And somebody comes in, and you try to win them. You know, some of the things, something simple that you can say is, well, hi, my name is such and such, I appreciate you coming to the open house. Oh, wait, how long have you been looking for? Oh, I'm just getting started, or I've been looking for 6 months. Something very simple would be, by the way, has anybody taken the time to go over with me what the buying of, the process of buying is? Because I actually have my brochure. I don't give them away. This is the thing, you know, we have this, amazing manual that we actually go over. And, normally when I get to work with, buyers, I like them to come in, so I can show you exactly what to expect. They're like, no, you know, nobody has done that. Because we go into the client mode, when we get the buyers, that we forget that we're supposed to present a value proposition. That's how you win it, with a value proposition. Fine. And you spend time in between calling and prospecting, find what that value proposition is. And make it your own, make it special, okay? Make something that's gonna be consistent and that you're gonna get to, present the same value that it would become second nature to you. Because that's when it flows, that's when it becomes authentic. And there's nothing that's than authenticity. You can tell when some, have you ever noticed, but let's use the symbol of used car salesman, right? When they approach and they come very sleek and like and slimy. Well, you don't want to come across as the real estate agent with that commission break. What you want to do is you want to come across as you truly authentic and that you care about them, not just about the commission you're going to make out of it. Okay. Great. What do you guys remember who thought making and receiving offers? That was Liana.
She did contracts, didn't she?
Yeah, that's the
Like
receiving and making offers. Yeah,
they,
about when how you write an offer. You know that.
Yeah.
One of the things I thought that last time around. One of the things in this right here is so important. The previous one is working with buyers and sellers, and that you know the project was showing them home, the process of identifying homes for them, and the part that not a lot of people talk about is that to get to where we're going to get today, the closing part, you need to start a relationship with the agents at that time when you first engage. Because just like you have to engage or have a relationship with your buyers and seller, if you do not have a relationship with the opposite side, or the listing side, or the buyer side, let me tell you, the closing part becomes very bumpy. Right? So if you're gonna, have you guys ever gone to Brokers Open?
not yet. Not yet, I really close yesterday.
Okay. Sure.
Next week.
So when you go to Brokers Open, sorry. So what's the idea of going to a Brokers Open?
How many buyers, you know, you could also be creating homes for them.
Develop relationship with the listed agents, so they were saying that, so. Let them get to know who you are, you know who they are, so. And they got 3 offers all the same, so, oh, I know stuff on livings and get the offer.
Correct. What else?
Might have, I would assume that they'll share it before everyone else knows about it.
In theory, good luck. Well, the importance of knowing the market, right? To go to the different areas and go, oh my God, this is 700, I saw the other one, but that was 700, but there's nothing to 700 in this area, but okay, good, so let's say 1 million. So you start familiarizing yourself with what is available and what the market actually, how things work. Getting to know the agents is great, but when you know, what I see at Brokers Open is people go in a group. They're all like, I'm on them. They shoot the card. They go and look at the top. Yes, they're just like, then they group up again, so pretty. Bug out. Why a waste of time? Pointless. Okay, you go to the Brokers Open, okay? You walk in, you pay attention, okay, make sure that it requires bushes or you don't that your street up again and again. So you go to the listing agent and say, here's my card. Nice to meet you, my name is Aaron. I'll see you, by the way, congratulations on your listing. Very nice. I'm gonna take a quick peek, okay? Good. On the way back, you ask questions about, oh, is it gonna be open this weekend? Are you gonna be attending the open house? I think, you know, I have some time that I don't want to bring back. Would it be okay if I send them? I'll just give them my business card, even though it's with my clients. Right? That is.
It's building rapport.
That-
Odds are I'm gonna remember you over that person that just ran through the, but I don't know that other person. Now I know who you are.
And yes, I'm saying this. Do not pick the Brokers Open site by if they have food or not. Okay? So. That's really surprising. So what I'm saying is that use your time wisely. If you don't have a client, in the beginning, I highly recommend that you go to the Brokers Open. Okay? But if you go in a group of 5 or 6, you probably see 3 or 4 properties. If you go by yourself or with someone else, and you train that person, okay, then you can actually see 8 to 10 properties. You think you familiarize yourself in 2 hours with Brokers Open? And the whole, somebody got lost, where's this person? I mean, I think in there, and that's why I can do that. So, but I do want you guys to go and do it. Okay?
Who went yesterday?
I did, and it was exactly that. And it's not to be facetious in any way, but and from a, like, it was only my second time going to a Brokers Open, so I'm still kind of getting the feel for it, but your insight is brilliant.
No, and the reason why is because I mean, I see it and to me, it's very. I mean, and the whole idea is that when you call that agent, they'll know who you are. What do they say about the open house? If you go to 5 open houses, for you to be the one they remember. It's all about the connection.
Should you follow up with the agent or not?
Well, actually, if you're gonna show the house, of course, you need to follow the directions. If you're gonna send your client to the open house, because you have an open house or you visit, then you call the agent and say, hey, by the way, it was very nice to meet you.
Okay.
Okay, you remind them who you are because they don't know who you are on the phone. So, by the way, my client is going to be there to see your house on this day. I sent them the picture, they really like it, by the way, great photos. If they are great, if they're not, attention to the photo. It's like, that's another pet piece of mine. People put in listings with phone pictures on it. So anyway. the reason why I say this is because now we're gonna jump into the negotiation, right? And soon to be the close, because if we don't have the fundamentals, of if we have not started this relationship, you are now sending an offer to somebody that has absolutely no clue who you are.
Mhm.
And if your client has seen the home and you've not seen it, okay, unless you have 10 other escorts going and you can go, make sure you look at those pictures. But I would highly recommend for you to go preview that home before you write that offer.
Yes.
Okay, very important. And of course, in the negotiations, read the notes on the listings. Because it tells you right there. That the escrow and the services of seller's choice. No, there's the agent writing it up. I want my escrow to be this one. I want my, no, if they already told you. That's just annoying the other side. Okay? So just put seller's choice. The only part that I actually put is the warranty and NHD. Those you can actually pick who you want. Okay, this, and that's important, because you want the best for your clients, okay? The NHD is natural hazard, and the home warranty is the 1-year warranty that the seller gives to the buyer. Okay. Now let's get to close. What is this thing? Yeah, there we go. Oopsie.
If that thing on the bottom is annoying you, I think we've figured out how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So if you go to the 3 dots on the right,
And hide floating meeting control,
Floating
floating meeting control.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so this is what we're gonna cover. The moment you get an offer accepted, okay?
I voice things a lot, sorry.
The, so the moment the offer gets accepted, the timer starts.
Mhm.
And what does that timer looks like? Well, if you use a transaction coordinator, they actually send you they summarize the contract into the different contingencies and the different dates, and they send you a 1-page email saying, this is when the offer was accepted. This is when the initial deposit is due. This is when the contingency for inspection is due. This is when the appraisal is due. This is when the loan is due. This is the closing date. That's the initial timeline. Now, that timeline is just what the contract or the initial contract says. Those dates are all can be moved through negotiation, through a good relationship. Okay, so bless you. So here we go. 9/2 to 9/13 inspection period. So it's really important that that you let your client know what happens during escrow. Okay, I mean, the different steps. How many days do you have for the buyer to get the initial deposit in?
I don't know, right, that's the way.
72 hours, right?
unless stated otherwise.
Right, unless stated otherwise in the contract. So what they do is, so if they get their offer accepted Monday, they should have the deposit in by Wednesday, latest Thursday morning, yeah. So and what that is that the escrow company send them the instructions. You shouldn't be getting those instructions yourself. The reason why is because escrow companies are regulated and they have to have high security on the emails, because they're receiving a new disclosure about wire fraud, because people are intercepting emails and stealing that information and changing the instructions so they can actually send the money elsewhere. That's really, really important. Okay. That can be very, very scary because, there's people that lost a lot of money, and that's why you actually have to come, to actually now have to, disclose ahead of time. So, who's involved in the transaction? You guys want to tell me what parties are involved?
NTC.
Title company, home warranty, inspector. One real estate transaction gives jobs to a lot of people. So what you are is you are now coordinating all this, right? When the offer gets accepted, like, we opened 3 escrows this week, and one of them is 7 days for inspection, the other one is 10 days for inspection, and the other is also 10 days. Okay, so right now, from last week to this week, it's been a spike in transactions. A lot is going into escrow. The 2 of the transactions I actually had to compete with multiple offers. And guess what I won?
Why?
Because I went to the broker's open and I actually took my client and I went and I talked to the agent and I told him how. And actually the unit, the inspector yesterday found practically 0. This people need for example. But it's in Redondo Beach. It's actually a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 55 plus community on Artesia. And I mean, it's immaculate. I actually really like it. I would, come on, man. It's
I'll compete with you. I know we're the same age.
in 4 months, I'd be able to move in. Only problem is my wife doesn't qualify to do that.
Did one person call?
No,
Oh, no.
they have a, in that one, they have a rule that the second person has to be 45 and more.
Isn't there like grandparents that have like grandchildren that live with them, or like an adult son or daughter that wants to live with them, like they can't do that? Okay. I was wondering, I had a question.
Yeah,
about that,
yeah.
about somebody who's
It,
your neighbor.
it depends on the CCNRs, which is the rules and regulations of the administrative.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of people involved in this whole process. There's the handyman, there is the whoever, I mean, and that's why if you know people, start creating a list of your team, because that's the team they have.
Right.
Okay, like one of my preferred inspectors is Michael Boger, because I've been doing business with him from day 1. Okay, his reports are awesome. He's the easiest report to read. He actually has a program attached to it that if I want to know how much the different things would cost to repair. So it's small people, but you can actually now, instead of just saying, I want $5,000 for all the repairs. Don't do that. What you do is you break down what you're asking for, because if not, the seller is gonna be like upset. But if you're actually justifying what that credit is for, they never ask for like round figures. 5,000.
Something.
Right? So just give it a little bit effort. That's what it takes. So the timeline is super important. Yeah. So we get the earnest money in, all the paperwork, and by the way, yes. And here's when I get in trouble, because I use a transaction coordinator from the very beginning. And some people recommend for you to do your first couple of transactions. I find it unnecessary. I mean, you will do the transactions, right? You coordinate.
You're gonna be reviewing everything.
Yeah, yeah, the TC, you're still gonna be doing everything, but what the TC does is they just hunt all the different papers that you have out there and they just put them in one thing and they upload it into the system. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I paid. For everything to do. Why? Because trying to do that is gonna take you so much time that if you spend it lead generating, you're just gonna be able to make more money. Totally worth it. So the earnest money deposit comes in, you schedule the inspection. By the way, and this is what I say, indoctrinate your buyers. Sometimes real estate agents try to play heroes in the closing process. They put a cape on and they say, I'm gonna get every little repair done for you. That's setting expectations better. You can do this is to get the best price and make sure that the house that they're buying, unless it's a brand new home. Then a brand new home, and I saw quite a few here in Redondo. I take one of those blue painter tapes, and the house looks like it has chicken pox by the time I'm done with it. Because a new house is expected to be delivered immaculate. But if your buyers are buying an older home, please set the expectations. The people that live there for hundreds of years, literally, opening yesterday on one of my listings today. Remember the one, I don't know if you guys were at the meeting, but I announced it like a week ago in Bellflower. Well, Rosie, one of the agents here, our clients, we met on Wednesday. I was taking a handyman to remove a bunch of stuff. They're still getting rid of stuff. They went and see it. They're sending me a full price offer. Boy, so he doesn't even have to go to market.
Off market.
Perfect.
So pay attention when people announce their properties, because it might be something that could work with one of your clients. And if I would have put that property on the market, I took the listing at 700. I was gonna put it on the market at 648. I was gonna at least generate 10 offers on it. But she saving time, and she saved herself time to be in the competition. And my clients are
full price.
And my clients are very happy that they got the good price for this one.
And you weren't even at the point where you've invested money in photos or any of that.
You say $100 now.
Oh, they were gonna change carpet, they were gonna paint the wall. They saved money too. I told them, I said, hold on. Let me try one thing. So I said, I need to bring somebody in to see it. So, I mean, that's getting to a close factor. Okay, so the whole process of bringing your buyer, because all you have to tell them is this. You need to understand that the inspection is for you.
Right.
Okay. If there's something major, what's a major?
Like roof.
Okay,
Plumbing.
okay,
Something and foundation.
okay,
Plumbing.
so plumbing, so, sorry, but you know what, the house was built in 1917. Okay,
Cool.
the plumbing is original. Or maybe it was changed 50 years ago, but it's 50 years old. But there's no leaks.
And I think you put that in context of the age of the house, in terms of setting that expectation, that there is age to it, and you might have stuff down the road, but that doesn't constitute a negotiation
Right.
for plumbing.
Correct. You're buying an old house. If you don't want to be concerned about all those things, then we need to go look for a new house. Okay, so if there's a leak, right, then the seller is responsible to cure the leak, not to change the whole plumbing of the house. If the roof. Okay, so the inspector goes, you know what, this roof has been around for a while. It's at the end of its life, but there are no leaks.
We don't have to do.
You don't have to do it. And I always tell my buyers, when I sell this house to you in the future, are you gonna be okay with the buyer coming in, wanting a new roof, wanting new electric, what? No. That's great. Yeah, I mean, but you have this conversation before they get in there and they're like, and that's what's really important, the delivery of the inspector, okay, of the findings is really important. Because some inspectors make it sound like the houses on the hard. But the reality of it is that if you own a home, you never stop doing something to it.
Stay on the top right corner.
Say inspection response.
No,
Underneath
underneath the little, where,
Underneath the
there's one
name.
else right there.
Can't see
Well-
what behind the.
This mouse is very cute.
On your walkthrough. Buyer's agent listing agent.
Yeah. Okay, so sending an inspection response. What that is that when you get the inspection, you review it with your clients. And some of the serious items are like highlighted in red. There's a summary of the serious items. Okay, and the most fixed. But this means that they have to be safe. But the inspector might highlight them as serious or severe. Okay, so at times, like when I sell a home, part of my negotiation is done up front. I'm not gonna do any repair, the seller's not gonna do any repairs, the seller's not gonna do termite, the seller's not gonna do anything. If they want the house, the offer is as is. The contract says it, that it's as is. But I just make sure that they remember. And I put the home is sold as is, there will be no repairs nor credits from the buyer to from the seller to the buyer.
That's in the offer,
The contract,
oh, the counter offer, so as the listing agent. you're
that's the listing agent, okay? So, and that's why when people do their inspection, they do it to find if there's a foundation issue. Okay, which if they were to come up with like a foundation issue, you better believe I'm gonna be sending my own inspector in there. Especially investors, it's a thing that they do, they always find something wrong. All, by the way, most foundations have cracks in them. And the reason why is that, it's because we're always moving. And the second is concrete cracks. So, they try to make a big deal out of no, that doesn't work that way. So once you get the inspection back, you'll send your request for repairs. By the way, because I'm Aaron, I agree when they say, oh, the home is sold as is, there will be no repairs. Do you think that stops you from sending a request for repair?
No.
No. I still do. And for the most part, I always negotiate a credit. And the reason why is because when sellers do their own repairs, they will not try to do the least
Next amount
amount of work and money. So I rather get the sellers a little credit for them to use it towards, because they might want to upgrade. Okay, because instead of putting a new part, they're probably gonna grab a piece of pipe somewhere and try to do a repair. So, and at the end, and those things have to be done, by the way, prior to here, right? Because at the final walkthrough is when you verify that everything that you asked for has been done. So,
What if 9/13, is that the days? Where it's supposed to be done by?
Yes.
yeah,
Started
by the
starting on 9/2. And the
So these-
inspection period should end by 9/13.
So that's assuming they changed it from the 17. to
Correct.
10 days.
so this right here can be any number, like mine is 7 days, right? I opened escrow on, the acceptance was on the 8th. So I have 7 days on the 15th. Oh, no, sorry, yeah, on the 15th is my deadline. But I did the inspections yesterday, the day after, and everything was clean. So I could send the inspection contingency removal now,
Today,
right? But no,
you're gonna wait.
not wait, it protects my clients. Right. So, some of the things that I like to do is when you do inspections on homes that are older, make sure, especially if they're single family. And especially if there's vegetation around it, if there's trees, always. The only person in the last 11 years that did not listen to me ended up with almost a $4,000 bill 2 weeks later because the main line, the plumbing was bad. Why? Because if there's vegetation nearby, those homes is clay breaks. Any little breakage, guess what the roots do? They look for water. They go in there. So what you want to do is you want to do what's called a sewer inspection. And what that is they actually send a snake in with a camera on the tip and a light, and they actually film the entire sewer all the way out to the city line. Okay, and that's something that we can definitely negotiate. It's a major.
With the seller pay or the buyer.
All inspections are responsibility of the.
Inspection.
All inspections are responsibility. You can do a free listing inspection. Meaning the seller will pay for a free listing inspection. It's very similar. Or you can do, one thing I'm actually, gonna be. I just changed my presentation. But I'm actually gonna include a major item, pre-listing inspection. Meaning, I'm gonna know if there is a foundation issue, I'm gonna know if I have a roof issue, I'm gonna know if there's major issues with the home.
See, you're wanting to be disclosed to the prospective buyers.
Or correct them before, because
That's
you-
for the listing
Right.
side, yes.
the idea of doing a pre-listing inspection is to correct items prior to. Because if first of all, a normal buyer will run away from a foundation issue. You're most likely gonna end up selling to an investor that's looking to make money out of you. Because they're taking on your platform. So besides the cost of the fixing that foundation, there's gonna be a cost related to the money that the investor is gonna make for taking that on. So you're gonna end up selling the property for a lot less. Yes,
I suppose that's another way too, to manage the seller's expectation, because you can also use the strategy to price accordingly and know that you're gonna have to give up $50,000 because someone's gonna come to you and say they want that fixed. So if you're not prepared to do that, fine, but know that that's gonna come out of the sale price.
yes. Well, it is a lot harder, okay? To give up after you have received an offer for full price. It is a lot harder to go, but now. Now go back and give $50,000.
Yes.
So when if you find out ahead of time and you tell them, this is a major issue, and what you do is, and you get somebody to come and tell you approximately how much it will cost. So what you can do is you can still list the property on market, ensure that there will be a credit for the repair. Or there could be a price adjustment for the repair, or whatever the buyer, however the buyer wants to do it. Most people don't have an additional $50,000 for the repair, so they're gonna want to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on the sewer inspection, you negotiate that with your home buyer?
No.
You're a person that you like, you have someone that uses your inspection. So that person would do the sewer inspection, in addition to your regular inspection. Whatever company that you currently use, you said you like.
So that's why I like an inspector, and he has a whole, on his website, he has a whole list of vendors. There's a sewer inspection, there's all kinds of. I have my own. I have this guy that I've been using, he's honest, it's just such a nice guy. I actually interviewed him on one of my YouTube blogs recently. And it was funny, when he came in, he looked like he got it out of from under the house. And he said it was down for an appointment. But him and the chimney inspector, that's another thing.
That's
So-
a deal, you had money, you had your mouth on that. We won't mind. Yeah, that's funny, pick it up,
But,
we're okay with it.
no, but, my Google number actually rings the whole four of us, so whoever picks it up first.
Oh, nice.
Uh, That's why they're really quick to pick up, it could be a lead. I try not to pick it up unless it rings 3 times, then I go for it, because somebody has to pick it up. It's either they're busy or they want to. So no, what you do is. I highly recommend or strongly recommend, which is a non-negotiable, for you to do this. And I tell them the story about my client in Inglewood that did not listen to me and up without it. It's my guy only charges $175 to do that. My inspector's guy charges $250. And one time I had to use, recently I had to use, and this is what I say when you start knowing people, you start, okay? First of all, I needed an inspection real quick, because I only had like 7 days and it was hard to get inspected for that week. It took him like 2 days to get me the video. Because they actually sent me the video, so I don't like hunting people down. Okay, and that's how I rate my vendors, and that's how I use people that I use. Okay, but that's, so what you say is, I recommend, termites. The termite guy that wants the speaker of the meetings, Andre, big guy. Yeah. Free inspectors. They don't even have to pay. And one thing I try to do is I coordinate all the inspections at the same time. A window of at least 3 hours. Especially if the property is a little quiet, because I don't want to be driving back and forth. Right? I don't want to be, if the property is occupied, I don't want to be driving the tenants, all the owners crazy. Just try to get it all done at the same time. That way you get all the reports at the same time, and you can actually now go back and see if there's room for negotiation. Okay, transactions in this process right here, by the way, offer accepted, making offers. The reason why a lot of people do commercial real estate is because there's absolutely no emotion in commercial. There's no numbers. Does the number make sense or they don't? Does it make sense or they don't? Nothing. Here, no. The seller is the house that my dad lived since 1957, and he paid $17,000 for it. That's the one. Okay, the memories of the dad, the two ladies selling. Oh, that yard. We used to play in that yard. There's so much emotion.
Yeah.
Right? The buyer is like, is my offer going to be accepted? I want to offer this that they're asking. I want to, and now, you know, in the last few months, the buyers think that the market has fallen, and the sellers think that the market's still a year ago. And there's a big gap. So our job is to actually prepare them for reality. And that's what I'm preparing you for reality in this business. Okay, so the moment the offer gets accepted, great. You know, there's been a few times that after the offer is accepted, the buyer's now like, whoa. They just call the lender, and the lender told them what the payment was gonna be on the accepted amount, and now they're like, oh, or one of them is for it and the other one is not. I mean.
Or they were just putting an offer to put an offer.
At times, that's why you have to be, that's why you have to be nurtured, that's why you have to create a relationship. Okay, if you, I actually have to tell one of my team members' clients. I told him, I said, just so you know, said, I'm totally open to making your offer, but this has a high chance of insulting the seller. Oh, that happens? Absolutely. They've been there for many years, they love their home, and when somebody comes and does that to it, they might not even respond. Sure enough. The agent called me and said, is this for real? I said, look, I try to encourage the buyer, but at the end of the day, I have to submit the offer as to the request. So, I apologize for my buyer to yourself. But I got back to this, to them. So, yesterday we made another offer with the same. It was a little closer to where the one, so hopefully I have an email saying that it was accepted. So, that'll be good. When the buyer sends the earnest deposit. That's when you need to be really quick, because they're gonna say, so. What's gonna make my deposit be endangered? Am I gonna lose my deposit? What happens if, if you cancel? When can I cancel? If you don't have this conversation beforehand, it's gonna be an uphill. That's true. Okay?
And if someone's saying that, wouldn't you also wanna get to the heart of why are you worried? What's making you concerned about backing out?
Yeah.
Because that's
It
all
could
the.
just be anxiety.
Yeah.
It can be all kinds of
To be clear.
Because we're negotiating both sides, we really need to understand what are our buyers' motivations, what's the fears, because we need to educate them through that process, and some of it might be emotional counseling.
Yeah, well, and that's what you do, and that's when buyer presentations are super important. I tell them, literally look them in the eye and tell them, I said, this is a very, especially if they're buying and selling at the same time. Double the stress. One of my clients right now, we're gonna close next week, is saying, you have helped me lose so much weight this past month. Yeah, I don't put the baby there. And I'm gonna put down my list of items, so. But you have to tell me, this process is gonna be very emotional, so be up and down. Please call me at any of those points. Because if they get in their head, deep at night, they can blindside you. Okay, so perfect example, the story in Inglewood is not the last week. Right after they send the deposit, it was one of the agents for transaction, and he's like celebrating, he's excited, I mean, he's just like, well done. Well, like around 6 p.m. Friday, she calls. Says, we can't afford it. The offer has been accepted. I have gone through craziness to negotiate and getting them the buy down. Okay, for $15,000 for 2 years. Okay, the agent feels like I'm taking advantage. I mean, it's just, what do you think of this? You buy it for yourself, you agree? Okay, and I'm trying to keep it together. Over the weekend, they were gonna think about it. I didn't even tell the poor agent that his transaction was in trouble. You know what, give me a second, my sister never called.
Yeah.
Need a break? Hey. Enseñando una clase, pero quería saber si está todo bien.
I woke up at, just,
When you're in.
woke up.
Yeah, okay. You guys might take let's take a quick break, okay? Because if there is a transaction that, put it in perspective what it is, okay? At the end, we don't close, and the important of it is that that's the end result.
Right.
Okay, I have other transactions that I've talked to them twice. They know exactly what they're doing, boom, done. But it doesn't always go that. Let's get back at 7 minutes, we good?
7.
11:15. Let me go see what's going on with my phone. Sorry.
No. Oh, he didn't like. I was.
I was so on myself, on. I didn't know, I was not coming to. You know what, that's ultimately, and I was like, you know.
I need one pretty.
It really not, that air conditioning kicked in. Oh, it
Now, do we have to make up the, because I missed two.
Yes.
So. But if you didn't have anything on top of it. I guess the one on the lady, yeah.
I just want to sit at home and I want to do my calls and I want to do, like, I just want to get to
Same.
work.
I already have my whole week following this. From the morning to the middle, to I have like.
I had mine laid out this week and I haven't accomplished half of it.
Yeah, I didn't do that
Just
for
because-
myself.
Just because of these classes, and so I
Yeah.
think that was the other thing in my head, I'm like, I'm super behind, I just need time to get into stuff, I need to do stuff.
But we can try to get our routine going, and once we're done with this, we will, but, I'm not saying, when I put all that into my calendar, to kind of like, start getting myself.
Yeah.
In the habit.
Before we started. Taking use of.
May I have some?
I forget what they call it.
Absolutely.
They'll do me, they call it the,
I'm not with it.
but it's really. And then put yourself on mute and then your call. And then you check in every hour, if you have issues or. This, what's your suggestion? It's just kind of. It's just a group environment, it's not accountability at all, but because you're on.
It's like you're doing it for the person.
You end up being more focused what you're doing. So everyone has separate goals, everyone. And oftentimes,
That's who here.
yeah, I can share the link. But yeah, oftentimes Mary will do it on the phone, so, you know. Because here has Monday morning last curriculum. So if people are saying. "It's for special," you know. That's why.
It was, I got it off. Okay. So what I was saying about and how to navigate the process. So the seller, I mean, the buyer was having buyer remote. They were concerned, the wife is taking, there's always somebody that's not take the lead, either the husband or the wife. Okay, most of the time, the wife thinks no that. And I already have escape routes.
I don't ever think we're faster.
Yeah.
Well, okay, hold on, I see this. But the good thing that you know, I sort of exactly why it was a good deal and why it was it was super good. So, okay, so they call me Friday, Sunday, no, Saturday evening, they say, okay, we'll buy one more. I'm like, okay, great. By the way, I had the lender involved the entire time. Because I mean, I can do literally I can do numbers in my head. But I like the authority, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why they, you know, if they're gonna work with me, they're gonna work on the weekends, because I work on the weekends. Well, they don't get my business. So, like Chris by far, it's been a longer relationship than Fernando, but I work with both. Okay, Fernando loves to have buyer meetings at his office on the weekend Saturday. There's a beautiful office right there in front of the.
Where?
Amazon, the Amazon Center. The atrium, the
Downtown?
black building, no, right here on Sky Park.
Oh, okay.
I saw literally across the street.
Yeah.
So I always have one of them on the phone just because they, I mean, I don't. You know, the way they see it is we are just trying to save our commission. So how do you come across to where you really have their best interest in mind, right? And not just a commission for him.
Mhm.
How do you do that? That was a question.
That would be the question.
Wasn't that what you wrote?
How do we not come off so salesy, basically?
Okay, very good.
And that was all, that's what you're asking, right? How do we not come off so salesy? Like, I don't know, just be
So
more.
more pushier,
Mhm.
just be personal.
Are all the virtual services or offer them others, or the complete package, not just selling the house, but it's about finding you the best ABC meeting to get a packet?
Well, if I don't wanna buy the house, I don't wanna buy anything else. Okay. How do you do it? Those things are valid. How do you do it?
Finding out what they're concerned about and addressing their concerns and in a way that they trust you. So first they trust you and then you offer solid recommendations.
So if there's anything you guys remember about me and the classes that I taught for this course, what do I hear in my conversation first?
What do you like? I'm sorry.
What is my main focus when I have this conversation with you guys? With your clients?
Developing a relationship?
Mhm,
Be your authentic self.
mhm.
You show the client that you're not there to sell them, you're there to.
Let me put it this way.
help them.
Okay, I'm gonna clean it up real quick.
Like,
I met this beautiful girl. I court her for a few months. I take her out, I treat her well, she gets to trust me. She gets to believe in me, right? Then I ask her to get married. If I did all the right things, you think she's gonna say yes?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So same thing with the client. Remember, we get our clients, and we have to court them. We have to treat them right, we have to earn their trust. It's a relationship. And you might think you have a relationship, just like a lot of people think they have a relationship and then they find out they get done. But no, that's not yeah. I mean, happens in real estate all the time. Why? Because a lot of time we're the ones talking about how wonderful we are and how we're gonna do this for them and how we get better than everything and they never open up to you. Right? So when you build a relationship, when you court to the follow-up, because you met, they like you, follow up, you continue to like it, you start the relationship, now you know about their family, you know about their dreams. I mean, you think they're gonna trust you when you're telling them this is the best property for you?
Yeah, that's first.
So if you haven't done everything else that I just mentioned before, you come and tell them, is this the right property for you?
Commission grant, huh?
So what I'm saying is, remember, if you don't remember anything that I taught you, you have to build a relationship and make sure it's mutual. Okay, make sure that you're constantly taking the temperature on your clients to know that you are connected. Okay, so don't overdo it, because sometimes people they get too friendly, too close. Remember, you still have a fiduciary, you still have a business relationship. You know why they become like real good friends? After a house. Seriously. Because we do stuff, we all do stuff that we wouldn't do with people if we work in corporate. Right, or in front of our bosses. Well, every single one of your clients is your boss. for that period. But once you close, once you either sell their property, and buy them another one, or they buy another property, now it's a little. So. Now you can become a little more personal, even more personal. Okay, a little, but don't also make sure that there are always boundaries, just like you respect your friends, right? There's boundaries with your friends. Sometimes people confuse that. So this person, when I told him, okay. I had not met him, actually, I had not met the wife in this transaction yet. The one that's telling me that she's losing weight. But over the phone, we're like, let's pass. Okay, we always talk a little bit about what's going on, boom, get into business. Met the husband and the dad at the inspection. I went to kind of like in and out, I let the agent there, and move on to the next day. And but I know for a fact it's the best thing for them. Then I actually go and find out that remember I mentioned that there was a claim, an insurance claim on that property for 22,000. Guess what? Got the entire thing for them. Besides the 15,000, I got the $22,000 check that the insurance company had written to replace the roof. They getting that.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So
How should I find out about that?
when they call the insurance company told them that they had a claim on the property, so I went back to the listing meeting and said, what is this about? The trustee found the cash check from the insurance company as part of the state. So they agreed that that check belonged to the house,
Oh, wow.
and I simply requested it.
So who called the insurance company?
My buyer
Oh, your buyer.
trying to get insurance for the home.
How did they?
The insurance was set up.
Coincidence that they went to the same company or?
No, if there's claims on the home, there's a report that you can ask for a resale. And it lists any claims, if there's, a bunch of claims in one house, you're gonna have a hard time getting insurance. So she got a hold of that, she went to another company, was able to get insurance, but I got no check. And so, as of Friday, no, Monday, the client sends a text, says, we need to talk. That is almost like having your wife sending a text, and saying, we need to talk. That's just, I'm going to the boat. So I'm like, oh boy. Okay, here we go. Aaron, I'm really sorry, but my husband really is having an issue with this. He had not told me how we do, the whole thing. We need to cancel.
No.
Like, okay, only one. Inside, I'm like. You just, not only you just go into three.
Yeah, because it's again, emotional.
Right.
What is the reason behind it? This is where we put our little doctor cut.
Let's work through it. Counselor, yeah.
So I do the math. Okay, there I go. I told you that the house is actually worth it more than what it was listed for. I was issued to, the house was 700,000. We were able to get it for 680. And now I'm getting you $37,000 in credit. They're practically getting in the house. Or less. No, they're well, they're doing it, there's only 3.5%. They're actually getting in the house in the month. And I said, it's two or three houses from the mom. Who's the babysitter?
Wow.
That house is 4 bedrooms, 1,700 square feet, beautiful yard. It's ready to move in, and it's some upgrades, but it's ready to move in. So I'm just,
No brainer.
so I'm just playing all of these things. She goes, Aaron, I want you to know that you have done a great job, and I'm like. Yeah.
Different angle now, different
Right,
angle.
right. So he goes, but it's not me. It's my husband. And I don't want my relationship to suffer because I can do something with someone I do. And I said, I absolutely respect that. There's nothing I can do about that. But I want you to do me a favor. I said, I would like to have Chris Rivera and you and your husband on a Zoom call. And let's just talk it through. Let's just find out exactly what's, going on. Can you please do that? He goes, okay. I'm gonna be home, I'm gonna talk to my husband and this is not. Her dad has seen the house and they actually living with the parents right now, so going from no rent to like $4,800 a month. So I'm like, okay, so I send her a text later, I say, I didn't say, did you talk to your husband? I said, what time do you want to do the Zoom call? I'm not touching that again. I said, what time do you want to do this? He goes, Aaron, great news. My dad and my mom and I sat with my husband.
Oh. Mention, you didn't have to do yours.
But he goes, we all good.
Well, grandparents are like, hey now. Right?
No, what they did is they made him, I mean, quite honest, with all that,
Yeah.
I was getting interested in it.
I know that. No, seriously, that's,
Right?
sheesh.
I mean, because that house can easily rent in that area for rent.
See, yeah.
So. Anyway, to cut the story short, we plan to close on the 16th next week,
Next
right
week.
on time.
Great.
We have switched from conventional to FHA to accommodate the credit, because FHA, I don't make any sense to you, but because FHA allows 6% credit and conventional allows 3%, so the 37,000 was over the 3% amount, so we have to switch them to be able to accommodate the entire.
Oh, wow.
Is that what was freaking them out?
No, $100 change in the payment is what triggered the investment.
Oh, $100 change.
That's because the.
No, because he already has it back in his mind, so that kind of, that was the final piece that made him blow up. So, but everything is good. We released all contingencies yesterday. So when we switch to lender, I'm trying not to talk to the
If you would have been pushing it on any of those due dates, they could have canceled you.
oh no.
That would have been touch and go right there.
So on Tuesday, okay, I'm getting ready, to come to the office and everything, and the agent calls me. I had not talked to them about the entire mess that we had with the break to cancel. And the appraiser calls. And this guy, a little interesting, the appraiser is Japanese guy, difficult to read the language, and he just got mad at the appraiser. Because there's the garage is converted, right? And it's in the legal.
Unpermitted. Unpermitted.
So the FHA has always been. So the appraiser called me before I got a chance to talk to them, explain the whole situation, because it had to happen overnight. So it was like, by the time we were done, it was like 8:30 p.m. And he called me, and of course, like getting ready, and I didn't pick up. He left me this message. I'll let you hear it, so just so we know what. He got my voice note once. So, oh yeah. Why did I say that? Why did I say that about keeping them together, right? So. I texted him when he called, and I said, I'll call you in an hour. I figured at that time I would be at the office. And I came with everything I need. And I called him right on time. And I even called Chris at his house and said, where are we? The reason why, this is the gentleman that had said, can you close this early, because I really need to get there. So who knows what he's going through? Right, he knows what he needs of. And I was not about to discover him. And all I wanted to do is, okay, I mean, he's, so I talked to him for half an hour, which my couple of my teammates were there, and they actually got good training out of it. On how to diffuse the situation, because at that point, we practically had, when the appraiser called him, he goes, tell him that this is not gonna work because the APU is unpermitted and this and that, and I cannot understand what you're saying.
Is that the appraiser's job to like speak on the, I'm asking, is that the appraiser's job to speak on the finance terms?
They were not talking about finance term, they were talking simply about scheduling an appointment, because if we went in at a conventional law, a conventional appraisal is different than a.
Oh, got you.
So he had to go back to the property and take additional pictures. And that would, a.
So he was an FHA appraiser.
He's an FHA approved appraiser, which he has to be able to switch the appraisal. Otherwise, we have to do a whole new appraisal. The way he went and updated the appraisal from conventional to FHA. Okay, so when the agent got the call, he just blasted him. Okay, and I'm glad that the guy probably didn't even understand what he said. So I called him and he's telling me, you know what, he's sending me a notice to perform, he's going to cancel the transaction, give me, 48 hours. And he goes, man, he goes, look, I know it's not your fault, and stuff, that. I thought from the beginning you were very honest, you were a good agent, and okay. So I totally appreciate the confidence. So I need you to take that. And give me the opportunity to prove to you that I can close this transaction. I said, you don't have to go into the appraisal. I don't want to go into the appraisal. I did not want it anyway. So I said, I'm not gonna stay on my agent. You personally go to the property today. I got the appraisal to meet me there at 1 p.m. It was already 10 at that time. I said, I'll be there. The appraiser goes, I was kind of hard to understand that. It took me a while to understand that you needed a ladder to get on the eye to take pictures. Because I don't have my, and I can't remember what he was saying, but I go, well, it was a chair, a step. He was saying different things. I said, God, I can find all that. But I have to go buy one at home.
Yeah.
I'll buy one. So I get there, set everything up, and I have my own ladder in my car, but then next to the garage, I find a small ladder. It was smaller than mine, so I figured that way you can go all the way up. So I'm taking pictures like this. The thing is, like, I get there and I simply with the moment he comes in, I just, that's what I do. I simply say, good morning. And he's like, oh, good morning, very respectful, nice older gentleman. And I just help him around and I go, everything okay? He goes, yes, everything okay. The gas was off. So they have to take a picture of the stove with the light on as part of that check on the. He goes, no gas. I go, well, the gas was on the first appraisal. And he happened to have a picture, but anyone else could have simply said, we need to be on right now. So to end the story, we got the appraisal back, no exceptions. The final approval of the loan and everything. Okay, I called the gentleman, right when we left. So look, I just met with the appraiser, he said everything looks good, no problem. He goes, okay, thank you for letting me know, like, he still was,
You're still,
and I'm just being a sweetheart. I was like, I mean, but that's the kind of stuff that happens in transactions.
Hiccup.
So even though I have just literally the night before, I have one with the buyer to get him going. Because what he doesn't know is that he was not gonna be the one canceling on me. I didn't share, I mean, but no, the problem in transactions, a lot of it is the agent. They take things so personally. I mean. You get that email first thing in the morning, how you gonna react? You don't know what I just went through last night, man, all of a sudden, you understand, I just barely pieced it together, I was gonna be the one canceling on you and try to bring the. He doesn't even know that my buyers were ready to bail out.
I've gotta learn that skill, cause that, if I got that more, I didn't,
And
I learned that skill. Who's that?
that's not just with the buyers or sellers, that's with your family, that's with your kids, that's with your friends, that's with whoever. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good for your health. Okay, good for your blood pressure and all the things. So, to say the least, we got to square away. We had our doubts, because he could have easily called out especially after he was treated by the other agent, right? I mean, people can be, convicted, and I just went in like pretending that I did not know what happened in the morning. I did my thing with him, so just be very respectful, be very helpful. I held the ladder for him to be safe up there, with the whole. You have no fault in zone. Sometimes we're dealing with different we're dealing with issues unknown to us,
Right.
okay? I mean, you don't know, whenever you come across somebody and they look sad, and you're like, what are you look sad? Huh? I mean, there's so many different ways you can approach that. You don't know it, they just gotta put their little dog down or stomach. Any little thing can trigger. So. And that goes for the buyer and seller. When you come back. When you're talking with the buyer and seller, I mean, they could have just, literally. I have had a transaction canceled because the company had a huge blowout. Huge blowout, because it gets stressful between them. So it could be that you just happen to be the one calling them right. And you're not cutting the crossfire.
yeah,
Okay?
basically don't take anything personal either.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just feel like when people talk to me like I was talking on the voicemail, I just think it is like they have other things going on in their life. I'm still gonna be me, be
Yeah,
calm,
we have to not be.
and it's just still be
anything, like, no.
do what I'm supposed to do.
It's, I was trying to get an offer,
So engage.
yeah, I was trying to get an offer in yesterday. And I've been calling the agent all day, voicemail is full, I send him text. Oh, I call him again, he says, oh, give me a moment. 6 hours, like a SpongeBob thing, right? 4 hours later, nothing, and then, I text her. I asked him, this is the questions that I have, right? Because I'm working on putting an offer to them. The answer? I have 8 hours. Okay, oh, I said, congratulations, I go, did you look at my questions? Because I'm working on putting an offer together. Because I just finished presenting them. Completely like blowing me off. So, I texted him back because he was not picking up the phone. I said,
That's so frustrating.
I go, well, it sounds like you did a great job of pricing the property. I said, congratulations on generating all those offers. I said, good night. Text back. Hey, I'm sorry, it's been a very crazy day. But the offers are way over us. They have priced the property significantly down. And the seller really likes what they got and they're gonna choose from there.
Oh, there you go, there's a nice response.
But you know what I mean? I mean, I could have just simply say so, do something bad for yourself. You feel like I want,
Yeah.
but it just. I know, I'm extremely patient, especially in business, but sometimes in myself, I do. By the end of the day, I don't. I want to let some steam off, right? And I just, my wife gets caught in the crossfire of that, and last time she shut me up. I respected it and I apologize. I was by the door. And I told her, because this is how she actually made me realize. She goes, I'm gonna go buy a house and I want you to represent me. And I'm like, yeah, she was. I wanted to be as patient as you are with your clients. And I felt absolutely embarrassed. I apologize. I just, there's like the last 3 days have been very long days. And the one thing I love, like, just silent. I have to diffuse to be able to be silent, and I do that through the day, just because it takes a lot to not be reactive, right? And if you don't practice that, you will be reactive. Okay, so you don't want that because of time. Okay, yeah, you don't let it affect you, but it takes so much. Remember, we start with a certain amount of energy, but people suck that energy out of you. If you don't have a mechanism to recharge, then you're gonna run out. So whatever that is, just like I said, find your value proposition, find what centers you. Create a routine, 5-minute routine to where because I mean, when you have right now I have 4 escrows going and probably opening 1 right now. When you have all of that happening at the same time, there are days that every file has an issue. And now you like, okay, so create systems for you to stay home, and it needs to be what works for you. Okay, yes.
Well, and I was gonna say, not just comp, but I mean, you were talking about the timeline and the value of communicating to your clients what to expect for those timelines so that they're not unprepared. So you're not having to expend extra energy when something is due. So all of that contributes to reducing the reactionary stress.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, I'm not different than what I am here with you guys in the sense of like, if I can keep my clients smiling and laughing at silly things, I do it. Like I tell them, I said, by the way, I go, when you have the escrow process in, you set your money in and now you predict the bid. I said, now I create tension. What do I mean by that? You guys might disagree on something and go at it. I just wanted to know that's completely normal. It happens to all families. There's always disagreement. I said, there might be the parents that get involved because let me tell you, there's no one that has done more deals for me than the parents. They're so, I mean, they have their own opinion and you have to manage that too. Because what happens? They write an offer, they like the property. Well, no, we want our parents to see. The dad is like an expert on everything. Dad knows it all.
Probably the most.
Most of the time. Yeah. Okay, so, see, I didn't like this time. So. If that's the case, okay, find out. And this is what I say, what word did I use for the meeting with the buyers? What do I do when I bring them in? I indoctrinate.
Indoctrinate.
What does that mean?
Establish. Show them the steps, show them the process.
You looking it up, can you read us that definition?
No, I was just gonna write it.
Oh.
down. I don't think it's
Indoctrinate. win them over,
Mm.
get them signed up.
Communication deadlines.
Indoctrinate, it's like.
Let them know.
you're- I don't think they brainwash, but you're like,
But come on,
it's kind of like brainwash, it's kind of like you're getting in their head, like
you
you're,
program.
yeah, programming, yeah.
Indoctrination, like it's religion, almost like, it has to do with religion, right? And people believe, people accept certain things that they haven't seen yet. So, straight, so when I say I indoctrinate them, is like I prepare them ahead of time what's gonna come.
Yeah. I
With-
said win them over, that ain't the same, that's the same.
Yeah,
Are you sure here's the process, of what's gonna happen?
yes,
That's.
set expectations. Okay, let them know that it's gonna be rocky. And especially if they're selling and buying, because now it's double the trouble. Okay? But you know what I tell them? I do this all the time. I'm gonna be right here for the process, and I'm gonna be able to walk you through. So the moment you get into that, please reach out. Don't let it sit too long because it's gonna get really inside, and it's gonna take more work. Okay? Especially during this process. Communication is everything. On my cover letter for the, when I send an offer, I put that. Communication is everything. And one thing I'm very good at is communicating and be able to keep people up to date and know exactly where they stand. Okay, because the appraiser simply beat me to giving this agent the update in the morning. It was the first thing I had in my, before I go home, by the way, I do my to do almost important
For the next
things
day.
for the next day. And because I finished the call here, I broke, the first thing I had on it was full Antonio updates. So communication through the entire process, communication with the lender, communication, constant communication, do not blindside your clients. It only takes one. It only takes one small incident to lose trust. Okay, it's like if you're in leadership and you have a team, you can work year after year building the team, them believing in you, trusting you. You have one, it'll blow up. Everybody signs up to be, can't be trusted anymore.
And I would imagine that blindsiding, it may not even be intentional, but if the person has chosen a lender that you've never worked with before, or so you're working with a team that you don't have the comfort level with, and they can present information that can blindside the client, and may not be the first person who's in the loop, so you can't help them through that.
Right, right. So at times you might think you're protecting your client. Okay, but by not sharing with them. Just be transparent. They will appreciate the sincerity, and just make sure that when you go with that, you have a solution. Okay, so don't go in like, oh, what are we gonna do? No, you better use your resources and then go in there with, look, this is what's going on, but this is what I'm gonna do with it. And I'm gonna fight all the way and you're gonna fix this. Yeah. And if you don't know, then there's plenty of people around here with a broker that you can ask, but you mentor. But you go in there, tell them, this is what we're facing. And I say, we're facing, I'm in the middle of it, and I get to the worst of it. But this is how we're gonna go about it. So this is the plan I have about it. By the way, I already ran it through my broker. Or if it's the financial plan, but I'm in constant communication with the lender. It's doing everything possible, but the sooner the better to communicate. Now, when I say agents are emotional, it's because the worst transactions I have had have not been because of the seller or buyer. Yes, no, because of the land, because of the agent. Okay, from when you go to look at the properties and brokers open, when you go show the property. You're building. How you want to be treated. Okay, do not be catty or disrespectful. To anyone at any time in this process. It's gonna come and bite you. Okay, stick to your deadline, be flexible. I'm at times, and especially on the listing side. If the agent is being on it the entire time. But then there's a little slip. Oh, they're running a late day or something, okay? Don't, you know what, because do me a favor, can you go ahead and send me the extension then, and you are going to get this as soon as possible, right? Oh, yes, I'm working on it. Okay, great. You know, I know this sort of stuff happens. That agent is not being willing to work harder for me because of what I just said. Then if I tell them the contract said, this is what they use the most. The contract said, it's almost like going to the store, right? You try to return something and the clerk goes, the policy is, oh my God, that is. So, and I understand at times, okay, that it is. That doesn't mean that that's how I want to hear. It like, you know, well, you know, the new sort policy is this. But let me check with my supervisor. Well, I mean, it's just different ways to approach it. So the by the way, the seller, remember, the seller has the same thing. They have their own timeline, that they have to provide information, they have their own little issues. I had a lady that I sold her home. I saw her home, and the dad, the husband had passed about 4 years ago, and she was still not quite over it. But she had to sell the house, she had no choice, she was buried or something. Sorry. So it was extremely difficult, every step of the way, it was a breakdown. A lot of the conversations that we had, one little thing would trigger her to break down. So at times you become a friend, at times you become a counselor, at times, I mean, it's just so many, but you always have to maintain control. Not just you, but control of the conversation, to be able to have their party, and then to be able to guide them back to what's urgent. Right? You don't act, you listen. Sympathize. But don't get involved with it. Because otherwise, we will spend the next time listening to the whole story again, because it's always the same story. The reason why I asked Chris to stop for a little bit, because I've been telling him about the importance of communication and getting, you know, other people involved. One of the most important things, and that's why I highly recommend, if it's not Chris, Fernando, they both support the office, okay? And get used to using your in-house lender. Having the lender reachable, having the lender a phone call away is super important. When you're working with other lenders, it's tough, if you don't have a relationship, they could care less who you are. Yeah, this guy cannot run from me. I'm gonna try. I am. So, I can tell him about the property that we're in escrow and the importance of working on tax. There's conversations that are, you know, at times, I said, so like, you know, I'm a golfer, so I tee off. And I tee off for him and he can go and hit it, right? So, with this kind that we have had literally from the beginning, and telling them about, like, we get into escrow, then they change their mind, have to put it together. We got them all this stuff, and it's being a mutual tag team. Okay, and even though I'm pretty, like I mentioned, I'm pretty good with numbers. When it comes to. At times I can give them the rundown, but when I need it, and when I need it to be like official, like the guy with the bag, I defer it to him.
All right.
Wow.
Got a compliment.
I'm like,
So, a lot of what he just said is so true. I just want to hit one with a few points. So the first thing he said, just about the lender that you use. If you use a lender that you don't know, someone who's out of the area, you're at their mercy. Because I'll be honest with you, there's relationships and there's transactions. So what kind of relationship is that lender gonna have with you? If this guy's from Cucamonga or even from Fresno, is he gonna have a relationship with you? Probably not, which means you're back burner. And when I have issues on file, they take priority, right? So I could have 3 issues in the day that I'm trying to cure. And if it's a transaction, that's number 3, right? And I might get to it, I might not, I don't care, because you're never gonna give me another referral. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you're working with lenders that you know, because you're gonna make sure that they're gonna call you back, they're gonna give you the right information. Kind of what Aaron said, I live in a fishbowl, I can't hide, I tried, but they put me in that, because there's never a window, right? It's a great spot, but it's a bad spot, because again, I can't hide. So you're always gonna be able to find me and know what's going on with the file, or at least get the right information. Which is what you're gonna get, because again, I live in a fishbowl. I gotta tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I can't sugar, I'll try to figure out it, but I can't tell you something that's not true. Because again, you're gonna be able to march right back in there and say, hey, what happened? You said 500 and now we're declined, right? So it's really important that you guys do work with the lender, that you guys, or me, I should say, work with the lender that's here so that you can get that information. But taking it a step further, the things that you really want out of a lender, what I do with Aaron, is being able to talk to the listing agents. And that's huge, because you've done all the right stuff. You put them in your car, you've shopped, you've looked at numerous properties, you finally found it, you made an offer, and you're in the running, right? Now, what's going to separate you from the other offer that's just very similar? It could be the lender that you're using. Because I've been doing this for 30 years. I know a lot of listing agents out there. So when I call them, they've been in transactions with me before. They know that I'm going to tell them straight and skinny on it, so that they can feel comfortable to give to their sellers. And that's why you also want to work with someone like myself, because I'm able to talk to them and massage the deal, hopefully get you into escrow. Because your lender, I pick up the phone and talk to the listing agent and say, hey, this is what I've got. I can't tell them everything about the borrower, but I can tell them what I have and the amount of reserves that I have. What my DTI is, what the FICO score is. Hey, we've got strong employment. Where I'm at, I've got tax returns, W-2, pay stubs. I've run a DU. It's already been submitted. All of that stuff I can say. I just can't tell them pertinent information about the client, but at least I can give them the assurance that client's very strong. And that's why, just it's going to be tough, and I get that. But if you allow the borrower to control your escrow, they will. And as soon as they go to an outside lender, they're going to start controlling the escrow on you. So you want to make sure your team is part of it, so that together you can corral that client to keep them in the direction you want, right? Because your trusted source, which is the lender, once things go astray, which me and Aaron got ourselves into, we were able to combat it, because we would talk first what we want to present to the client and how we want to present it, so that it's a united front. Not that we're trying to play things over their eyes, but we're going to try to control the narrative. And that's what you're doing. They keep touched on, like when you ask questions and keep asking, they just keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. You're like, okay, I've already heard it 3 times. Don't need to hear it. That's why sometimes it's better to shut up and say, okay, I agree, I see. Right? I hear you. I'm with you. Stop this, go back. And here's the solution for whatever that happened to be. For us, we were able to cure, at first it was property issues. They had a garage conversion. The listing agent kept telling us, no, you can't do it. He came to me and I'm like, yeah, we can do it, either conventional or FHA. We don't care, because California allows ADUs. As long as it's done in a working line manner, we're fine. Listing agent didn't want to go FHA. Okay, so we structured conventionally. Well, the problem is the rate was a lot higher for the client, which then I presented the 2-1 buy down form. Now we've covered the payment form, got over the property issues, got over the payment issues. And it just keeps going on, and now all of a sudden, it's like they had some monies coming in from the insurance claim and wanted to route it to the buyer. Bottom line is, because we're on the same page, we're able to construct another type of loan program for the client, which I gave it, which we actually ended up going to FHA, that the listing agent wouldn't allow us to do. We had it approved in 2 days, and we're gonna close on time next week. But we're able to do that because me and him work together. He tells me sometimes stuff I don't wanna hear. But because of that, then I can guide him on how to get around that. And that comes back to, who is your lender? Is it a relationship lender that's trying to gain a relationship with you, which is what I am? Or is it a transactional lender, which is someone on the outside and they don't really care? And whether it closes or not, I want it to close, so how I get paid. I'm not burning a bridge, so it's not as important. I mean, the money is important. But sometimes it's like, I don't care. I've got to concentrate on the people right in front, right?
You just so you guys know, one of the biggest mistakes realtors make is start pointing fingers. The lenders are by far the people to blame on the transaction. That's the get-go, that's where agents go and point fingers. Well, the lender is, they don't have this idea. But if you're showing that kind of weakness, okay, your team, you don't have it. Okay, this sport or this business is a team game. And you never, you take on responsibility. Because people will always gonna respect if you just own it. Okay, so I don't say that, you know, Chris or whoever the lender is, or this other person or this or that, no. You say, you know, because the moment you bring anybody into the transaction, you bring your handyman, you bring whoever, you own it. And that's why who you have with you in your team is the most important. Why? You know, I care a lot about my brand. I care about my team dressing. I care about how they carry themselves. I care about how they show up. So he knows. I work on the weekends, guess what? I call him, you know.
Just a phone call with her.
He helped, no, I mean, that's who I need to work with. And that's what works with me, because let me tell you, well, he knows, I'm a little bit of a workaholic. Okay, and at times it's Sunday and I'm, you know, evening, I just need to grab something to eat, and if I have an offer to write, I'm gonna need a letter. So Chris. I guess, and I guess.
But what he does do too is he'll call me at 6 o'clock or text me, I'll be like, hey, house is dinner. I'm gonna give him the information where I'm at, I'll have it for you in 2 hours. That's all he cares. And that's the communication that you'll have with your lender, is you're asking me, okay, I can't do it right now, just because if someone wanted me to do something right now, I can't do it because I'm talking to you guys, right? But I can let them know, hey, I'm in a presentation, I'll be done in 30 minutes, and then I get it for it.
And by the way, avoid the mistake that a lot of new agents make, and a lot of new agents actually take the time of other agents and lenders, and they never do anything. So, what is your job right now?
Lead generation.
Listen, the moment you have a buyer, then you're gonna have a consultation with the lender. Tailored to that buyer. Loan programs, you can get all kinds of information on loan programs, okay? So, I'm not saying he's there, the big boy, you can't run away and just come sit one after the other and spend 2 hours trying to figure out what if, no, get the buyer. But you're not in business until you have a plan, buyer or seller.
Right.
Okay, and the only things that, you know, he said something about the fact that something I shared back with him that he doesn't want to hear. There's only 2 things. I'm on a tequila and I'm on a whiskey. That's part of the scary.
Yeah, I did share that. That's the reason why I think this phone's on Saturday. Anyway. Yeah.
Yes, in addition to the, is it called a 2-for-1 buy-in?
2 1 buy down.
Not by then, are there other first time buyers programs?
Yeah, I mean, that's not really a first home buyer
That's
program.
not necessary.
That's a payment relief type of program. It's to be a 3-2-1 buy down, 2-1 buy down, 1-1 or 1-0. Basically, what you're doing is getting the concession from the seller. They're gonna put it into a holding account. And we're gonna take from that holding account to offset the differential in the monthly payments. And this is what happens. Let's say the rate's at 6% and they do a 2-1 buy down, so we're gonna buy it down 2% for the first year. That's 4. The second year it'll go up to 5 and then eventually go up to 6, which is the note rate. Well, the note rate is 6, so the amortization schedule is on 6. But what we're going to do is give it to the client and say, hey, we're gonna make your payment rate at 4% for the first year. But due on a loan is 6%, so that variance, that's what we get out of that holding account that we got from the seller. And there's a whole calculator on what we have to put in there, but that's the gist of it. You're getting money from the seller to put into a holding account. And what we're going to do is give payment relief to the client, but they're still obligated to make the note rate. We just get the differential out of that account, right? And so they have
to qualify for the note too.
they qualify for the high note rate because that is truly the note rate. But what it does, it buys them time for the market to slide and get to the interest rate they want so that they can refinance down the road.
Because you're dating the rate.
If you're dating the rate, you're marrying the property. Exactly, but you can't refi if you don't own the property.
Exactly.
Right, so you gotta first put that in place. You gotta buy property. And the seller can help them by giving them some payment relief. And that's what we were able to do for the client. And the beauty is whatever's in this holding account, let's say it's a 2-year program, right? 2-1 buy down. If they only carry it for a year, there's gonna be a balance in there. Whatever's left in the balance goes to the client's principal reduction.
On the 11th of March, right, it's gonna be a first time buyer seminar.
Yes.
I highly recommend you to come to that. If you go through, yeah, there was an email sent out this morning that you should have in your inbox. Come to the class, because it just goes through a lot more detail on the different programs. The only reason why I wanted to bring them in is just for you to understand a relationship, right? My entire content is about relationships at any level of real estate. From the time you meet people, from the time you court them and follow up, from the time you build a relationship, every single time, every contact you have, you get into a relationship. You build trust. You build likability. You need to be likable. You can't be Scrooge. You have to approach people with that you are the solution. And you have to have solutions.
I have a question for you, regarding the first time home buyer, I already got a template from you, but I actually was wondering, a lot of my sphere is not South Bay, it's, I used to live in Whittier, I have a lot of people out in the San Gabriel Valley, and they won't maybe, or even in Orange County, like really South Orange County, that I really want I want them here for that, but I don't know if they're gonna be willing to make the drive. So is there gonna be a Zoom as well? I know we want to be out in person, I get it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it Zoom because it's too hard.
Okay.
Because then I have to pay attention to the screen.
Would you mind, like, if we were here present with other clients and doing a live, is that?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you're gonna get bad shots and.
I know.
Suggestions to that?
I'm just trying to I already know a few that might say, oh my God, I gotta go with, well, do you want the value or not?
Well,
So.
bring them the value close.
Mhm.
Find the office there's offices near that area. Go there, introduce yourself, okay, and reserve a conference room for one of the weekends. And then you can have them go do the seminar closer to where they can come to.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it for one.
No, I wouldn't.
But if you
recommend
had
that.
a group of like.
I would have a group out near that bigger area that would probably want to
That's
come.
perfectly fine.
Okay.
I don't mind that, but I do understand that. I mean, it is kind of a trek, especially Saturday at 10:30. But I don't talk about it.
Just tell them they're being motor.
But it's a really good way for them to understand the first time home buyer process and what programs are out there to help them buy with little to no down. I mean, that's the key is
That's what
they can find out how they can buy with limited to no down, right? So there's 3 different programs. We offer about 10. but there's three that pop in my head every time someone asks me the question. But I'm only gonna present two, the two best that, in my opinion, because they're gonna be the lowest rate, easier to qualify, and the most funds, because that's important too. You don't want to get a program where they're only for a period of time. And then once it's run out, you've got more funds. So you've all heard of the DACA program? The NACA. Right, so that NACA program, it's good. But you gotta hope that they have the funds when your client is in escrow. And it takes them a long time to get there. And the problem with it, they're not always there. And so the programs that are presented that day, they're always there. We don't have to worry about it. It's state funded.
Just
And that's
and whenever you're dealing with the state, it's always gonna be a little, you know. Shaky. I have close transactions with NACA and I mean, it works. It does work, but you know, you have to educate the other side of what it is. So you are going to work a little harder. That doesn't mean it cannot be done. Fred does it all the time. I've done it. And as a matter of fact, any of you, qualify for the program. It's a, yeah.
Yeah.
You said something earlier that intrigued me about that process that you went through with that last client. The seller didn't want an FHA. You proposed conventional and then managed to actually close the deal with an FHA. How does that come about? Like, how did you manage to?
Well, me and him were on the same page, so he actually got it through because he talks to the listing agent, right? But at that point, we had already had the approval, already had the appraisal in hand. And he understood that we could do it because he now trusted the source. So now I'm telling him like, dude, we can switch this to FHA right now, we're fine. Because it's now not a matter of, I don't know who your lender is, so I don't trust the source. We're in escrow. He now trusts the source because everything has happened according to plan. And then he becomes the negotiator with his head, and he's very good at what he does, so. You know, I have to commend him, because I told him nice job too when he got it, because the guy was irritated, because we're going now.
Well, I think of your messages.
Yeah.
So where you talked about the lender talking to the seller, that wasn't you.
No, that's him. Oh, yeah, going back to Vincent. Right, but he had all the information in the whys,
Right.
because it always comes down to the whys, right? Like you can be upset, but when I tell you the whys, you can kind of at least rationalize it in your own head and say, okay, this makes sense. And it did make sense.
So see, those 3 points back there is where the entire conversation that we've been having is summarized by that. Okay, because risk avoidance in this business is what's gonna keep you being successful, is what's gonna keep you keeping your license, is what's gonna keep you having a good reputation and people wanting to work with you. Because other than that, forget it. You know, the whole, everybody in this process, or the team that you're surrounded by, be the appraiser, remember, we all are people. And if you treat people right, the appraiser one, I mean, he's not in the business of blowing up transactions. But if I would have sent a guy that yelled at him because he couldn't speak English well, I mean, you better believe that things might not go well. Right? So that's what that's what I say. I knew I could get him to remove, right? And for him to be able to. I didn't say anything for him to do anything that he didn't want to do. Now, he could have called out some things that could have put some roadblocks. For it. But when I say build a relationship, it's like it has emotional baggage. I mean, have you heard that expression before? Right?
No, I guess even.
If that emotional baggage.
Wow, it's like a whole band.
League of the elite.
I'm gonna come say hi. Happy Friday.
So if that emotional baggage account is withdrawn, are you gonna be able to get anything out of it? So what you do is you have to first deposit, so then you can have access to it. Okay, yeah.
So the issue was not that he didn't want an FHA loan, he knew it was gonna get approved, and that's why he wanted that.
Normally, FHA loans, a lot of they can get very picky about stuff that is unpermitted. Okay, they could call out, I mean, this was done in the garage. So the garage normally has a washer and dryer so it can be gas. We normally have a sink, there's water already there. So, I mean, if there was a little bit of a risk, okay, going in fishing, because they could call it and stuff. But everything went so, and that's the part that I had to convince this gentleman to believe in the fact. What he had actually in the middle of all that was telling me, he thought I was a great agent and everything, so I used that. To be able to tell himself that if you're giving me a compliment, I need you to trust me. And I need you to believe that I can get this done.
I just wanted to bring up the whole FHA thing, because everyone's, I ran into an issue all last year of you just even trying to schedule showings for buyers, and so many people just didn't even accept it, FHA.
Right.
So that's something you guys just, from my experience, just so you ladies know, like, always check before you even bother showing a property. If that's what your client is specifically going in for, don't waste your time, because a lot of people don't even want to work with them.
Right, into that, it's really unfortunate.
It really
It's
was.
really a misnomer about what FHA
Right.
was. See, it used to be like that,
Right.
10, 15 years ago, they were only tolerant, there was differences in the thing of appraisal, the conditions, and that sort of thing. But honestly, it's the same now, it's the same thing, and I tried to tell that guy up front, look, all we're concerned with is it done in, and this is a phrase you need, in a workmanlike manner. As long as that phrase is on the appraisal, we are okay with it, be unpermitted. The thing is, we can't give it any value, because it's a second unit, we get it, but it's not, so we're not gonna give you that bedroom and bath count. We can't. The only governance for us is city ordinance. Doesn't conform to the zone, right? If you go to Carson, you can't have it, but that's not because we're saying no, that's because Carson's saying.
Compton is the same way. I mean, there's a lot of stations that actually have that free closing inspection, city inspection.
Right.
So you cannot transfer title unless all those things are corrected.
Right. So that's what it comes down to. And trying to tell the guy, he wasn't gonna get it, and he didn't want it because of what you were talking about, like, oh no, FHA bad, it's bad. It's not bad, but it's just that misnomer out there, like, okay, that connotation of FHA has gotta be tough. There are gonna be stricklers on the value and condition the heck out of the property, and we're not doing anything. The only difference on the appraisal between conventional and FHA is chip and filling paint. That's still there. The house was built prior to 1978. They want to make sure that there's no chip and filling paint. Just goes to the lead based equation. That's all. That's all it is. And usually, even if you have that, it's a simple cure. You get a handyman out there for a couple $100 and knock it out in one day. You just scrape it down and put up new paint and you're done. Right? So that's not even really a big stop for the listing agent. It shouldn't be. But for them, they wouldn't take your offer last year. It wasn't just because of FHA, it was because they were getting 5, 10.
Oh, I knew that, but that's why I was
You need to
considering.
slow down.
They were like, we people want to.
They're not-
Because things are moving. They've already come out with reports, they anticipate this year being one of the highest percentage wise of the pie of what's sold going to first time home buyers. Typically, you're about 20 to 30% of all sales, because we get that data, we see it 20 to 30% is first time home buyer. They think that's gonna be up to 35 to 38 this year.
Okay,
Because of the offer we'll get.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you.
Yeah,
We need to continue. So, just come to to 311.
Oh, I'm gonna promote it, yeah.
And he can actually send you a flyer that you can personalize for your information for him to you and everything.
Flyer, it says for us to ask for RSVPs, but then when we get our RSVPs, do I give them to you?
Yeah, just let me know.
Okay,
Just so we know how much food.
okay.
And last time we got the lines added, I only had about. I thought we were gonna have 15 people. It was
Okay, good.
this place all the way out there, it was crazy, and all the people like that.
Awesome.
So,
Good
yeah, no,
program.
they're very popular and very informative, so please, what I wanted to show you is the importance of establishing relationships. So here's, I think, he's one of my team, okay, my transaction coordinator, my team. I actually use Jim Carroll, I've been doing business a lot with them. And I use this other gentleman, yeah, I can't remember the title company, but I do most of my writing with him. Oh, that's not matter. But I used to rotate them. And I know everybody does a lot, but it's, to me, it's like better to just one or two that you go to. Unfortunately, it's something that just matter of preference or you connect with best. That's just my opinion. I do feel bad that they'll try really hard and I just can, you know, in the beginning it was easier because I would just, and then I would keep track and then people would like complain why I didn't use them and I'm like, okay, you know what, forget it. I don't need that. Yeah. I try to stay away and keep drama away from it. It just takes a lot of energy, because I keep saying, I do believe in that. And I need to stay on, like, and recharge, like I said before, because if you're not, if you're just coming, the moment somebody drops their, you know, their tone and then they start talking about how bad things are, just, like, you be asleep right now. So anyway. So it's really important, okay, we're getting at the, and this, you can ask for this even before the actual closing, because once people close, they get very busy moving, they get very busy doing all kinds of stuff. So you want to ask for referrals and for a review. And hopefully by that time, they're not too upset at you, or they've done something. So timing is always important. So make sure you know when to ask, okay? And what you ask is, for a 5-star review. You don't ask for just a review. You ask for a 5-star review. And the question you ask is, do you think that I have earned a 5-star review? Will you give me one? Now, there's transactions sometimes, and not because of you or anything, but they're a little shady. So be careful when you ask. Just, I mean, you know your plan. Remember, you have a relationship, right? So, you know, you get them in a good mood and just boom, you ask. But if you know, if you just blew up, I mean, if something just blew up in your transaction, probably not the best time to ask. Okay, so really important. And then, you know, the beauty of having customers that you have close is that 4, 5, 7 years from now, you're gonna have repetitive business. If you can get through this business in the first 3 years, you get to 5 years, you really start delivering. The reason why is because, you know, you could have just made 100 calls and 5 yell at you and nobody wants to talk to you. You went to door knock and everybody was just in a bad mood. You've been hustling for a month and maybe nothing. All of a sudden you get a call. Hey, Aaron, you know, work is moving me, I need to sell my home. Those calls are so beautiful. Let me tell you, there's nothing more amazing than that. Or like I mentioned last time, with a house in Belfast, right? We were at a listing appointment that was not going very well, but you know, sometimes you're gonna get stuck with people that waste your time. But in the middle of that, I see my client calling me. I kind of knew that was not going well. I did answer the phone. I stepped out and I said, "Can I call you right back?" And when I called back, it says, "So my wife's home is that pass." So that's why staying connected, following your database, staying in touch with your clients, super, super, super important. Okay. So again, repeat business, referral business, client reviews. Ask for referrals at every conversation, throughout the transaction with the buyer or seller, and at the close of the transaction. So when do you ask for referrals?
Every conversation.
Always. Okay. Close follow-up. I will call them. How did the move go? So people find out, when is your move day? You know, they go ahead, no, are you gonna have moving people there, or, you know, and then people show up with pizzas and soda, whatever. Right? Whatever you decide that that's gonna be your follow, just be consistent. Because that's super important. Okay. Of course, Keller Williams encouraged us to bring other agents in. If you had a great experience with the agent, you don't need to try to get them over to Keller Williams. You don't need to try to recruit them. What you do is, hey, I told my broker how amazing it was working with you. Will you take a call from him to appreciate it? Let them do their work. Okay, so that's what you say. I had a great experience working with you. I told my broker about you, and he wants to call and say thank you as well. You don't have to try, hey, you're a Keller Williams, you can do this, and literally people just gonna throw up on people, and that is not good. So use that. What I just said is the simplest way to go and tell agents that either Carlos or Simon, you give them a call, and what they're gonna say is, hey, Aaron told me you were awesome on that transaction. All right, congratulations, glad you get it done, and then they go into possible getting them in. All right. And there is the key to getting to what we just got. Any questions? And I'm gonna give you plenty of time. I have quite a few calls to return. So I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to ask the question. And then take a break. And you can get back and do your activities at 12:45. I'm gonna be coming in and out because I do have a few things that I got
Okay,
pressed. So,
okay.
anything you want to add, anything you want to ask, and by the way, it doesn't have to be about today's session, it can be just about anything. I'm open to anything.
Aaron, I wanted to ask regarding, the earnest money deposit. I've been seeing the, disclosures regarding, wire fraud. If a client decides they don't want to send their earnest money deposit to where they'd rather do a cashier's check, does that slow down the process? It does not.
As long as they can get it there within 72 hours.
Within 72 hours, okay.
We can't touch it, right?
No, they should take it directly to the.
Yeah, to the-
We don't do it.
We don't.
No.
I just remember that song, 10 messages. Anything else?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you know, I'm always available if you guys have questions. Make sure to hold your mentors accountable. Make sure that you stay in communication with your mentor. And please just talk to everyone within 6 feet of you about what you do and what your goal is and how you're trying to help those families. Okay. Another thing to remember me by, set up an account where you're gonna put at least 50% of your commissions for your taxes. The other thing that takes agents out is that then they're not like getting this nice check. They forget that it doesn't completely belongs to them. They can blow it up. It's something about blowing up, so they just pay bills. But at the end of it, when you do your taxes, okay, you're gonna have a big tax. Well, you wanna try to minimize it by taking as many talk to your CPA, and you're not going to. But talk to your CPA to make sure you take some of the necessary write-offs in nature. Make sure that whoever does it, don't just go to a person at H&R Block that just got their like a month before the tax season. Make sure that they know what they're doing, make sure that they know how to work with agents. Because if they know how to work with agents, they will guide you into what you can write off and what you cannot write off. Okay, because if you don't say it, what you're gonna end up doing is, I don't know, I can't tell you how many people are in a payment plan. So guess what happens? They do that. When the new year comes, they start working and they're making money, They still haven't set up their account, they're still not saving for the taxes, so the next year, oh, now they have to renegotiate an act. For this year, and before you know, they get into their. Up to their next and tax that.
I'm thinking you manage like that.
So to say the least, just do your best, don't get too confused about. I mean, the next piece is about plan your future. Okay, so the decision is, are you gonna have a future in the business?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Right? So. If it's a yes. Just remember that. Right? Do not come to the office to socialize, come to work. Do the heavy lifting early in the morning. So it's, like I say, go and look up properties with a mission. Get to know your agents, yeah. I highly recommend for you to go individually. And yes, it's fine, play with the group, but that's just social time. If you look at, you should pay attention to the brokers open. And see how many application agents go to those. I don't know. Well, they're familiar with the market, they kind of already know, but like I said, most of it is done now. If there's a property there, like last Thursday. Okay, last Thursday, I took my client to the broker to look. Okay, church was full. I went and I walked in there with my client and I introduced my client to the agent. I introduced myself. When I called them, they said, Aaron. They already knew it. They don't know what's going on. They chose our offer over another offer that was higher than ours. Because of how clean the offer was, because of the term. And when it helped, it is cash. Too. But sometimes, I mean, nothing wrong with the mention of 120%, higher. But you know what I did? I called them, I said, okay, so this is what I'm putting in. Is there anything else that you sell are looking for? They already, they already have the problem. Is there any way to take it from a little less than 30 days? I made it 24 days. And that helped. And they go, by the way, the seller want to go with somebody that doesn't, that's not gonna pay on everything, or repairs and this and that. So don't worry about it. I already had a conversation with my buyer. We understand that there's something maybe wrong, we will come back. Yeah, she was awesome. Great, I'm gonna push for you up.
So the listing agent, is that fair? So they still present everything to the seller?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But the listing, with my clients, they rely on me for me to make a recommendation. I'm the expert.
And the listing agent is,
It's
it's not that. They have a fiduciary duty, but because they know more about the situation, they can speak more educated about their offer. So it's not necessarily pushy, but
you show them all the offers. As a listing agent, you show the seller all.
Every.
Well, this is gonna give you cash and not complain.
What I do is I do a spreadsheet, because most of my have multiple offers. So I do a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet has the date I received the offer, has the amount of the offer, has the amount of deposit, it has a down payment. Okay, it has the actual termite, which they took it out of the RPA, which I don't know why people tend to put it back. But I mean, I give them a breakdowns because if I go ahead and send them the whole thing, and if they want, some people do, so then I go ahead and send them the first 3 pages of the RPA. So that has the entire thing. So, but for the most part, I actually recommend already on that spreadsheet, who I'm recommending, they can overwrite me on it, and I tell them. I'm recommending who should get a counter offer. Okay, And I actually rank them based on, after reviewing financials, based on down payment, based on the strength of the buyer. I rank them as to what my recommendation. I do the counter, when the counters come back, I update the spreadsheet to what the new numbers are. And I say, my recommendation is this. And why, and then the backup 1 and backup 2. That is powerful. Okay, because you don't have to go and start over. And because everything is done so quick, you know, the chances of me having a true backup is great. In case something was to go sideways. So that's what the 7 days inspection, so, you know, just, I want to know right away if you're gonna move forward from that. So. Yeah, I mean, it's on the listing side. It's awesome. You're in control. Yes.
With some of the new additions in the RPA, have you updated your spreadsheet to actually include commission? So that you don't miss if someone's put in a higher commission than what you were originally.
I have not updated that. I'm not updated that. So, but normally well, that's for your protection. For the client, you kind of stick to what the listing agreement said, that you already put what. So if anything, if you miss what they put, you might have to end up sharing your own.
But
Right.
it would be worthy of a counter offer if someone put in, let's say, who wanted 5% because they have a buyer agreement listed at 5%. It's something that you want to check for.
Right, right.
That it's part of the seller's evaluation.
Oh, I did it just like this.
No, I and I probably think for that. I'm
It's me.
Yeah. They definitely want to pay attention to that. All right. Well, I'll let you take a break.
Over here,
All right.
but I just wrote it out. Like,
Okay.
you just wrote it. I just wrote it like that.
You're welcome.
Okay, how am I gonna put like? Yeah, because I couldn't do, I did consider the. You know?
Yeah.
So I just did that way, I think it's. Watch the video too, it's like. I'm not gonna hard, like, sorry, I'm not. I was like, just what?
Well, I'm not watching the whole damn thing, but.
Yeah,
There's a lot of it.
actually pretty short, but one of them that I was watching, it was so hard to hear.
That was the one, that was the
Understand
first one that I
what
missed, the first one that I missed, I was like, I can't hear it.
No, I just put it out like this, I just did it like.
Okay.
Point, like what was important.
So let me just do it off the email and then
There.
cut the recording off.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, but
Cool.
yeah, that's just. how
Thank
it
you,
was.
dear.
But she confirmed that she got both of them.
Okay, so.
To the mother.
Uh-huh.
Found her outside yesterday. She is a tall. What she told me. That crash that happened at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Back in November.
Mhm.
It was like the house right across the street from her. It was. It was the guy who was in the street with her.
Oh my God, that was in the.
Yeah, he just sold his house.
Wow.
Because his parents had passed away, he got his inheritance and he sold the house.
Was he flying the plane or he was just in it?
He was in the plane with. The personal pension plane, you know what I mean?
It's awesome.
But only the other guy had a pilot's license. But
Wow.
I read about it, they said they suspected that he was actually on.
Oh.
So like investigation,
Like,
it was flying,
Yeah.
but they were doing like, just like takeoffs and landings and.
That's
down hard. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, you should see the guy all over the phone. I didn't know him. But saw him. I just can't believe he got that much money for that house. €650. Wait, where's that? But we lose all the boys in this class? They can't hang with us girls?
Brian's close, but he doesn't.
Oh, okay. Okay. He gets bragging rights in.
San Mateo, Santa Clarita, no, Santa Clara. So what is that? Daly City, that's up north.
Now, send them to her to get them out of the way.
What is it?
The two that I missed, the 2 sessions, I'm like, I haven't done it yet.
You just figured it out.
Well, no, I was trying to like write on them and then send her, extract it from here and I'll, how do I do that?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna write it, just like you said.
I just did the bullet points. Need to be honest. I think she's got like a lot of stuff on her plate. I really don't think she's removed it anymore.
Okay.
So,
I'm just.
I mean, it's important for us to like learn the information, but I mean, just like for her, I mean, she just like, okay, well. I think as long as you took the time to like. Just email her and say, hey, here are my notes. I think she's probably just gonna check them off.
You stop recording.
I don't think so.
That's what I mean, like, some everyone said.
Sometimes they'll be on there and they're just still going and going, you know?
I know, because when I watched some, like, a couple videos that I missed or whatever, like, literally, like, the video is starting like before, like, we even doing here. Like, there's like 20 minutes in the beginning of the recording where, like, everybody's entering, you're having your little, like, good mornings, all and stuff like.
Just pause the recording.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
If he comes in and talks again, we have to restart it.
He's not gonna come back.
he's not gonna come back and talk.
Okay.
You sure you stopped it?
Yeah, because it's set up to receive share.
There we go,
We're not gonna leave it.
right?
I'm lying, I don't maybe.
I can't sit here and I gotta like, no, actually, these are these more people.
I'll see, I'm still putting my name on my database on tomatoes.
It's already kind of trapped. The first time about thing that Chris shared. Did he cross, advertise, like put your information on it or?
No, so what they sent out and actually in Holland, I asked for it a week ago. I got it a week ago, but I was holding on to it because I didn't want to put it too far. Like, I wanted to at least do it a month in advance and then like maybe post it every week.
Right.
But it's a template for Canva. So when you actually open it, do you have a Canva account yet? Okay, it'll open up in Canva. And then you add your picture at the bottom, your branding, your information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that with me?
She should have emailed it out to everybody today. Did you get it?
Yeah, with the flyer?
Yeah.
And if she didn't, I'll forward it.
Yeah, I got it too, but when I went to open up the flyer.
Oh, really? I mean.
Yeah.
I'm in my email right now, so I can't check, but
Mine did, this, why I click on it, look. When I clicked on the link. Yeah, it's going to see that. I'm like, she's not on this, I have a version. I have a professional version. Wait, and it's all. But it wants me to create a design, it's not saying anywhere. I mean, it wants me to sign up.
because mine opened up, so you don't have a Canva? That's probably why. Do you not have a Canva? You gotta make one, yes. And then there you go. Yeah, but that's his, like, if you open it in Canva, we'll be able to put your little picture, your name, your number, your email. Like, you want it, you want your little stuff, baby. Okay.
Sorry.
I didn't wanna send this now, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm thinking about it again, so let me just get it to her now.
Now, into the PDF document and I put that something.
There it is. Oh, yeah, I say.
I might have to go over on Saturday, you know,
Huh?
so I might have to go over on Saturday, you know.
I was gonna ask you, where do you watch the Super Bowl?
I think, my neighbors are in Florida,
Okay.
but I
I kind of like, I don't necessarily like care for either team,
don't either.
but I actually like Rihanna.
Yeah, right?
I really do, I dig her, like, I haven't seen her like.
It's not the Super Bowl, it's Rihanna's concert.
I wanna see Rihanna, that's it, okay?
I know, that's it, that's all I care about.
All I care about. So if I can see it somewhere,
No,
I'll text you this weekend.
yeah.
How about the Beyonce tickets, right? And so, so I do the Apple insurance, my girlfriend does Apple insurance, she's a company manager, she makes millions of dollars. Literally. So I said to her last night, I got people to the Beyonce concert for City Day Platinum membership, and then a ticket sale. I said, okay, I said, so how much is your ticket? It seems to be at Beyonce, and I'm not that big about Beyonce.
Me neither.
And the woman said, she paused, I said, well, how much do you pay for a ticket? 24 times.
It's ridiculous.
No.
I said,
I mean, I guess we all like, we put some money in and that's just like, it should change to you,
I
like.
said,
No,
that's ridiculous.
that's,
But I would say,
she is, like, come on now.
no.
Yeah, and that's important.
So never would I ever.
That's
Right.
Now, where's the getting, it's not getting her box seat, it's not getting.
Yeah.
So it's gonna for.
The VIP has. No, it's Hershey. Morning,
So fine. So fine.
But what I spent, I said, that's. And she said, it takes money. I said, I'd rather give that money, you donate that money someplace, and my thing about these artists who charge different concerts. Your base doesn't have that anymore.
No.
Your base that supports you.
I mean, look at somebody like Prince, which exactly, you know, that's the hardest thing, because your fan base cannot go see you live. Because their tickets are too much.
Do you remember when Prince did concerts at like, he did like a whole series of them at the Forum? I saw them like twice because they were like $30 tickets. Prince, this is somebody who's worthy of $2,400.
Negotiate. Listen, I want my fans.
They're like super expensive,
But
like,
those things are $600.
yeah, so it's expensive, getting there, parking, paying for shit while you're there.
It's just
Like, it's just, you afford it, like, that's what you're getting.
So who's part of your beehive?
And
I'm not. $25 million or $25 million for one performance. She got so much trash for that because where they keep them over there. So you go over there and pay 20, and that back to living in the country. You don't need $200 million. It's just.
Yeah, I don't do that crap.
Get back to the community, support your base, because your base can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your base can't afford to see you.
Yeah. And if it's because of like your. Like wherever you're having the concert, like SoFi or whatever, it's not better, like choose a different location and like.
Oh, she can negotiate.
You can negotiate all kinds of things, you know? Exactly. Just having a concert where they're gonna draw like business to those businesses around there, so like you're helping out and everything. Yeah, it's just. I've been wanting to like go to another concert soon, like looking at prices and I'm like,
Even the Janet.
I saw one concert a long time ago, I'm not gonna lie.
Janet Jackson, that concert.
They're so ridiculously overrated.
I was just checking it.
We got forever.
In 2000.
Well, right now they're $1,000. It's like, I'm not paying $1,000.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk to you, Jen, about like if we start rolling the brokers opens, like if going to work out after, if that's something you're done.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? Okay. Get our gem on.
I was going to venture with my life.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God. Was that the Velvet Road? Oh no, that wasn't.
Backstage. Okay. Go back there, talk to her for a while.
We wanted to be around dropping that. Oh.
We've been for a while. But it's like the VIP section in the forum. I would barely do like to myself, you know? But that was awesome. That was such a fun night. That was like,
I paid for Frank.
Yeah.
oh
my God.
oh yeah. I would have loved
Concert.
to gone to a friend's concert.
Oh, honestly, hands down, he was one of like the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
My friend was going here and she like will still talk about it to this day.
The last one that he did before me,
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah, that's what she
t-shirts, that everybody went more than once, because
Yeah.
it was so affordable. And it was different every night, he did a different show every night, it was amazing. He was just,
Most artists.
oh god, no, that's what I'm saying, like, nobody can afford that these days, who wants to go? Yeah, no, I wouldn't even do Coachella because it's just gotten so out of far gone now.
I think Coachella once was enough for me.
Yeah, one time was, I don't know.
Different, it's not about like, it's not even about the music anymore.
It's actually not about.
It's about Coachella, like wearing her in my outfits, it's not about like what I used to go for, which was hearing different music that I would never.
Music and like,
You know, it's not the same.
now it's like.
So Chris and I were with our daughters. And it was like, they didn't watch the concert, they're like, Daddy, take my picture, take my picture. It was just.
Yeah.
Sad. I like going to the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Open.
I'm finding the best thing about being here, it is Canadian artists aren't as well known. So they've been passing through, like some of the like artists that you would pay millions of dollars for tickets in Canada. Here, to be able to stay and see them, yeah, in
Oh,
the
trying to go to
Venice West or Troubadour or whatever, and it's like $18 a ticket, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And I'm like this close to you, I'm like, okay, and then. It's awesome.
What is wrong with you, computer?
I don't know, Eric.
You know what?
And you're still on here. Mine is blank.
Why are you not working with me right now?
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, the template was it, but his template not.
Did you click through?
I just clicked, I clicked here.
Oh my God.
Click the link below.
How am I seeing your, like, Suzette? Oh, no, you're not Suzette Banks.
Yes, I am.
Are you?
Yes, I don't know why my information did it.
Well, and when I.
And that's Christine, so it's showing everyone that's clicked on.
Oh, it's everyone who's picked, but again.
So we're all collaborators, I guess.
Why is-
Yeah, that should be a key person.
I didn't see her up at the desk. She's just on lunch.
Christine, and whatever.
Because you're seriously working on the group together.
You know.
Oh, but, okay, so I clicked on home and now the home buyers, thing is there.
It's on home.
Yes. So if I'm making coffee. Okay.
I click on home and it's not there, so.
Maybe scroll up. Right there.
So they're sharing their Canva with us.
But
Let me go in.
just hit copy so that I could adjust it
You guys are doing copy for them.
and.
Recent is nice. I'm gonna edit.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my pictures to come back from Cheyenne, because I was gonna add it to the flyer and put it on social media and.
It's just not opening up the document in Canva.
It's not.
Do you guys have accounts in Canva?
Yep.
Okay, so that's not your problem then, cause that happened to Jen right now, I'm like, you have a Canva account?
Yeah.
Hmm,
So you click on the link and open up?
yeah, it opened up the template and everything.
I have it, we have it too, there's nothing there.
Hold on one second, let me just send this email, one second, cause I can't open up from
I
here.
can download, I can download, no, it's the PNG, but I want.
So I wonder if it's that I don't need to. Yeah. What's your email address and then we'll send you the link to the, where the event stuff is.
Okay.
Let's do.
Here, I'm gonna try opening it and see what happens.
DES. TINYS.
And you put continue with email, and you're doing all that?
What's that? I just click on the link.
Yeah, no, I know, but it should take you to, watch, I'm doing it right now.
Sending this to
You wanna come over here really quick so I can show you?
You just have to click on the instructor manual, and there's.
So I'm
4
clicking the link.
depending on
Okay.
which one you miss.
So this one's gonna take some, right, so now you wanna hit edit
It's
design.
there.
I didn't get that.
And there's a separate one where you can.
It
actually
should give you
click
that.
on it if you want to, but I just do.
Oh, that's where,
So I hope
no.
read
Yeah,
manual
try it
and
again.
the instruction manual, and I just read through and copy stuff I want from it. and-
Okay.
Just this.
Probably get.
But that is so weird.
Who's it coming from?
Home.
Christine
Christine.
wrote up at
Christine.
AW.com.
Home. Then. We go. Here.
Oh, there it is, good, open it.
No, right.
Okay.
Got it.
Edit.
But edit,
And so when it goes to your home.
we don't get it.
That's weird, cause I actually saw it myself, let me see, let's see what happens.
I don't see, I don't get that window.
Oh, wait, I'll go back. No,
I just, I went to my camera channel.
I click on this, KWConnect.com details at night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's-
For picture day pals, so yeah, so you're going to join the other account. Straight to, so this is part of KW University, so if there's anything you want to trade on. So if you click on there, it's good. Oh, so actually scroll down.
I mean, it's the wrong
So
password.
this is the list of all
Okay,
things.
this is my account.
Break them down into four sessions.
Yeah, you clearly have used it, right, so.
You need to go to
This week, King Martin Luther King, which was what, January 15th.
Yes, I don't know how it actually indicates what date that is, but you can probably go through your workbook or whatever you were using to make your notes, because somewhere along the way you know which.
That is weird.
section it is.
See, templates are fully skip.
So yeah, you just then open that one up and then.
So it's January 16th.
You know what's do this, I'm gonna try the one that she sent me one before. Too, hold on, she sent me like.
January
Oh,
16th.
the
The
other
other
one.
January 19th, is 116, 119. And then I can go to. Just
We all this. Yeah.
I've seen it before, or I opened it before and saw it before, I don't know why it's blank.
But why is somebody in there twice? I was in there first. I'm not gonna put themselves on my G's.